Terraforming a new universe starts with the Earth then Mars/Thwart transpiring alien chicanery now. The united, green superforce can terraform a new multiverse. The key is plants. Don't ever underestimate the power of plants. All life depends on them for their survival. Animals will come after. There are many types of microorganisms, bacteria, and even cyanobacteria that can create miracles in space. Meat from bacteria is already in development. There are bacteria that can erode plastic waste and turn it into proteins. This is proof that there is a wide variety of species that can help in re-terraforming the Earth, Mars then many new alien worlds. There are alien collectives coming from depleted, desert worlds. Some of them have been colonized with technology, not with organic life forms. The alien worlds can be terraformed to become Earth-like if the Earth is preserved and Mars is transformed to a habitable sphere. The future is here, and it's going to be difficult, yet there is great promise for humanity. Humanity can become one of the most advanced in the universe through re-terraformation of the Earth, then the universe. Only a few advanced civilizations have been adept on terraforming new worlds because they were able to safeguard their home world. The technologies and collective solutions to climate change can rapidly transform the Earth and protect it from coming cataclysms. Burning of anything should be prohibited, nonetheless the world is burning down. People are touching green cover that must be preserved for net zero goals and eco-balance. The planet is slowly turning into Mars. The largest rainforests started emitting carbon partially. Carbon is the most abundant element on Earth. Too much of it through burning has been warming up the planet. Greenhouse gases just like plastic waste take years and years to break down. In order to become a very advanced and disaster-proof society, carbon emissions should be regulated and the excess carbon in the atmosphere must be withdrawn. Carbon can be the main element for every industry, so it can be exploited and stored in products, materials, natural productions, manufacturing, and so on. Most industrial nations have been more polluted and carbon levels are so high in the air. Thus, with a new industrial revolution, they can start extracting greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, and carbon in its pure form to make new things in a circular system. Everything has to be more circular as of now to halt pollution and waste. The industries that emit the most greenhouse gases can also capture and filter them into new raw materials over and over again. A lot of companies are realizing all kinds of waste is actually a treasure. People throw things totally in good condition. Recycling facilities collect electronics waste from all over the world and repurpose devices in perfect condition. Terraforming new world starts with the Earth. Everything that people do has to change. Reckless consumption and exploitation has to end. That can only happen when a fully circular and environmentally beneficial economic system is in operation. Aliens want this world for their own and humanity as their workforce. They will promise everything to deceive the people in power and influence, so they can gain control of the masses. The problem is that people have been misusing and overusing a planet wanted by others for centuries. Somehow they had to initiate their planetary acquisition schemes that worked and tested elsewhere in space. They mostly carry out the same procedures that have been proven to be effective. Human society isn't much different from other newly developing ones. They've mostly made the same mistakes in the past. Then the aliens came and took everything away from them. Everything regarding humans has to change for the betterment of the planet's eco-balance and growth. A new world is on the horizon. Aliens are already here on Earth. That's one thing a lot of people didn't know about. Since the aliens are here or have been here, we live on a totally new world. It's also a world in danger. That's why they want to secure the sphere for their own benefit. People get amazed by technology, especially alien technologies. Technology will not solve all the problems, particularly climate instability. Nature is actually the oldest and most evolved biological technology, including human species. No technology will be able to replace humans and what they can do creatively. There is a creative force in every human being. It's not coming from a processor with artificial intelligence. A lot of people warn about the dangers of artificial intelligence. It may be related to the aliens themselves. Perhaps, it's actually alien intelligence trying to gain control of the world by stupefying people. Human intelligence is being outshone by artificial intelligence, probably alien in origin. Most of the events including abductions related to the aliens were negative and harmful for human beings. Human beings are more spiritually advanced compared to the alien beings that come to Earth. Humans can overcome the adverse events and outperform alien organizations if they can keep their spirituality in unison with each other and with nature. Nature comprises many creatures with souls, and they enrich the environment and ecosystems. Humans can do the same thing rather than taking away from it and plunder all life that exists here. There's a great deception about the aliens. They've been literally invading with their secret schemes and procedures. A lot of people in power and commerce have been deceived to obey the alien agenda. This is a very dangerous phenomenon. This planet and all its life forms are wanted by many alien collectives comprising several alien races. They operate in a pirate manner, also try to beguile most powerful individuals to carry out their plans. Humans are a remarkable species that can become the saviors of planet Earth. This planet has the power to continuously rejuvenate itself and terraform many aliens' worlds in proximity to Earth. Aliens may or may not help with this. They'd rather take it for their own benefit. Some aliens' worlds have been colonized with technology that humans don't have yet. You probably don't need much technology to terraform a planet, either. Since developing advanced technologies and excessive manufacturing will only deplete any planet in the universe. This is what's happening to Earth now, it's losing its self-regeneration. People are consuming it faster than anything can replenish itself. Economic, industrial growth and expansion is a very dangerous path to becoming an advanced civilization. People don't need that many electronics, gadgets, things, junk to survive nor live a fulfilling life. There is so much junk out there that only give short-term happiness and satisfaction. Nobody is worried about the long-term goals and planetary protection. Creator only grants one world for a civilization to live and evolve. If they destabilize it, then nobody will come and save it. The ones that do come from space would only save it for themselves by subjugating the native inhabitants of coveted worlds. You need to play your cards smartly from now on. There is a need for planet-saving energy sources and green innovation. One way to minimize pollution and greenhouse gas emissions is to switch all industries into plant-based and sustainable system. In the past, most people were farmers and emissions were little. Humans have discovered fire a long time ago, they still burn fossil fuels and wood as energy sources. During these catastrophic times, a switch to green energy is imperative, yet green energy isn't potent to power the world. In order to stabilize climate and the environment, new green energy sources are needed to be able to ditch burning things for energy. There is already a tremendous amount of greenhouse gases floating in the atmosphere. Without removing them, the planet will only get warmer every year. Some people think planting trillions of trees can halt climate change, but that's not true. People mostly plant the wrong kind of trees anyway. You have to protect the existing forests, minimize emissions globally, prevent pollution, capture carbon dioxide, then plant the right species in right places. Analysis shows that protecting current forests would remove more carbon dioxide than planting new trees. The largest forests continuously grow and expand without human interference, yet they're being cleared exponentially. A circular economy relies on sustainable harvests that mostly appear seasonally. Fossil fuels have engendered industrial revolutions that bring so many useful products quickly to the global market. Plants were never as reliable and dynamic as fossil fuels. Back in the day, it was okay to pump out tons of gases, nature used to absorb it substantially. Things have changed, aliens calculated that humans would destroy the planet, so they had to initiate their planetary acquisition agendas. The planet may get warmer and drier to eventually wind up mostly infertile. Some nations are testing artificial rain over their cities and farmland. Desalination is being re-evaluated to be more effective and cleaner every year. It dumps toxic brine back into the oceans and seawater. Technologies like these may be life-saving in the future. Water scarcity has already been a devastating issue for many nations. Water is getting more scarce for the cities, for agriculture and manufacturing. That's why climate change is the main issue to be concentrated upon. Switching to green energy and green solutions to climate change will be more profitable than polluting industries. Innovation increases during times of crisis. Although we're amid mass extinction events, a new period of reformation and restoration is in progress. It's probable that new green energy technologies will be able to outmatch alien technologies in the shortest time possible. Everything is energy in the universe. A developing civilization needs more energy to evolve and even to be self-sufficient. In a depleting world, energy is the main concern. Aliens would easily overtake a weakening society as a result of climate change, conflicts, shortages, and disasters. It may be impossible to halt climate change and global warming, which aren't the same thing. Some countries believe green hydrogen will revolutionize the energy sector. Hydrogen is a very abundant element. It can be stored, transported, and used to provide energy for any sector. Polluting industries are mandated to be adjusted to benefit the environment, secure natural resources, and mitigate the impact of warming and fluctuations. In some parts, it rains so much, in other parts, rising temperatures are creating new deserts worldwide. Eventually, the entire globe will be a scorching desert, similar to Mars and other alien worlds. There was a secret program to transport a selected few to a planet where the aliens reside. It was a very arid sphere with little or no vegetation, water, and high levels or radiation. It would be unbearable for human beings to live in environments controlled by the aliens. You can feel the effects of this now, since there is a subtle alien invasion worldwide. This is one of the most dangerous events ever occurred, and it's interrelated to people's reckless exploitation of the environment, its fragile resources and life forms. Aliens believe they would utilize this biological storehouse better than humans, but it would be unimaginably pernicious for the human beings. No administration or corporation would be able to survive the coming cataclysms and the alien interference because there won't be enough resources to supply them in the future. The problem is global, So solutions of climate change and resource depletion must be executed in every continent and every country with equality. Overconsumption will always emit tons of greenhouse gases, produce waste, regardless if it's fueled by green energy or not. Aliens are scavenger organizations that have been conquering coveted planetary systems with technology, deceit, and mind manipulation. This is the field they have mastery on that humans have no competence yet. Every habitat, forest, and natural resource must be preserved for later use and regrowth. Humans will live on this planet for thousands of years, even if they expel alien invasions projected by multiple groups. Cataclysmic events induced by rising temperatures and instability will weaken human society to the point of obedience to extraterrestrial offerings and orders. At first, people assumed alien offerings would be beneficial for them and the world, but the gifts were intelligently designed to control and subjugate the masses. You can see how alien technology affects humans now. People are so addicted to technology. A lot of people invest all their time and money into new gadgets and devices, hoping that they will improve their lives and grant happiness. In fact, this is not true, it's just brainwashing. Aliens will start using all kinds of tech to gain control of society. For this reason, technology and its manufacturing must be restricted for the benefit of the environment and society. Electronics waste is not much different from plastics waste. So much unrecoverable alloys, plastics, rare earth metals are ending up in landfills and being burnt down. Even the wealthiest countries are experiencing the most severe droughts, floods and water shortages. Without water, no nation, community, and industry can operate by any means. Aliens have been studying every aspect and outcome of human society for centuries. They finally started invading the Earth by manipulating the most powerful individuals around the world. These people serve the planetary acquisition plan of the aliens. When it's completed, they will be replaced by alien-human hybrids that will overrule the globe oppressively. No administration, elite, or corporation is immune to planetary collapse and depletion. Money will be useless after a century or so. Paper bills won't matter in an impoverished sphere. Every river and lake are shrinking as a result of rising temperatures and drought conditions. There are predictions signifying that ocean and sea levels will rise over 100 feet all across the globe. People presumed the world would end in 2012, the real date was the beginning of 2020. Disastrous events are only intensifying every year, there is no means to stop them now. It's probably impossible to remove all the greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, it would take centuries for them to break down. Forest cover is supposed to increase annually to inhale carbon dioxide and break down gases, yet it's being destroyed at an exponential rate. Luckily, there is a small possibility of global recovery by implementing green energy and natural solutions in every place across the world without inequity. Green energy is being more innovative than any other industry to tackle climate change. New energy sources can foster sustainable and organic manufacturing, green projects, reforestation, carbon sequestration, and build many new climate-positive cities around the world. This is the power of green energy, and it will be the biggest sector as of now. Green energy technologies can be fully recyclable as well. Most of them last only about 20 to 25 years or so, they will be more durable and get recycled to continue their lifespan. Every product can be redesigned to get recycled and reused so many times. It's better to make products to last a lifetime instead of single-use like most plastic packaging. Some companies are making edible and compostable packaging to replace single-use plastics, polluting the planet. There are a couple of cities that will be powered by green hydrogen and renewable energy soon. They will be the example for the world. They also incorporate eco-friendly and renewable manufacturing. When green energy is in full operation worldwide, it will be easy to capture the congested greenhouse gases with new technologies and solutions. Natural solutions tend to be better. It's also proven that preserving current forests can capture more carbon than planting many trees. Most of the tree planting proposals are monoculture similar to agriculture practices, and this is actually destructive for the environment. These schemes can adapt to native biodiversity of every region to preserve ecological balance and sequester carbon naturally. Forests and oceans absorb tons of carbon dioxide, exhale oxygen, and nurture life forms. It's better to prevent the destruction of them first than engineer new forest, coral, marine and native ecosystems. Aliens are very worried about the Earth's environment, comprising countless species that they need for experimentation and other uses. They've been coming to Earth to gather essential species and resources for a long time. The groups that are trying to establish themselves now are totally distinct from the ones that came to Earth during biblical times. Their intentions are different, they're only here to gain control of this native society and everything that exists here on Earth. Some resources like forests aren't needed by them, so they will discard them and let them burn out by humans. This will weaken human society and exhaust the planet furthermore. A lot of companies in the world are already being seized by the aliens with the promise of advanced tech and planetary domination. After some time, everybody in charge will be replaced with hybrids which are genetically engineered, human-looking beings serving the alien agenda. You have to protect your planet and all that exist here from extinction, destruction, and depletion at all costs. You can see that some people who work for the alien agenda have been burning down forested areas across the globe, blaming climate change. The reality is totally different. Although climate change and disastrous events may be irreversible, humanity can still unite and cooperate to protect human civilization and make it as green and resilient as possible. During times of crisis, cooperation is the only way out. Oceans can be farmed to capture carbon. Solar farms on the water are more feasible, and water keeps solar panels cooler than desert temperatures. Green energy is so powerful that modular nuclear reactors will be able to power cities, spacecraft, and probably space colonies in the future. Green energy and climate technologies have the chance to surpass alien technologies. Recovered spacecraft have been powered by advanced reactors. New types of reactors can power human civilization and advanced transportation systems. Solar won't be able to power space colonies, so modular nuclear is the only technology that can take humans to other planets and sustain colonies. Space colonization is a complicated undertaking. The desire for terraforming other planets is irresistible. No matter how much it costs, if it's practical, a sustainable human world can pursue this marvelous mission. Nothing has been sustainable until now. The environmental and product awareness are growing now. People need better education and better guidance about the real problems of modern civilization. Renewable resources must be shared equally with the world, so they can utilize them to rejuvenate the lands, cities, and revise their industries. Some countries started launching artificial rain over cities and agriculture, and this is a good thing. This can be replicated by other nations to precipitate to cover their water needs. Water is more valuable than gold. Precious metals aren't as significant as water. The planet is drying out because it's been losing its forest cover that creates rainfall and fresh water sources. This planet has to be the greenest, most sustainable in the universe, and this magnificence will spread to other planetary systems through terraforming. From the air quality, you can assess a metropolitan area's sustainability. The more carbon and greenhouse gas emissions plus pollution, the less sustainable a metropolis and country will ever be. A lot of people have been leaving the world's biggest cities. They're too expensive and too stressful. Quality of life won't be as good in congested megacities as in spacey, beautiful, thriving cities. Densely forested park space can be introduced to many new places, and hopefully these gardens can clear air pollution in urban centers. Also exhibit a diversity of botanic. Most people get astonished by the beauty of botanical species. Some companies have been renovating their headquarters and office space to display a botanical paradise right in urban areas. Many buildings will be retrofitted as a clean energy powerhouse to generate more than enough energy to power themselves and support the grid. Things have to change completely in a depleting world threatened by existential crises and mass extinctions. Human activity has altered the environment to a point of no return. That's why aliens had to start invading with secret procedures to gain control of human society as soon as possible. There hasn't been any resistance until now, but people are recognizing who they are, what they're up to, and what's been going on. Humans possess spiritual intelligence that the aliens have forgotten a long time ago. This intelligence can solve all the problems of our time and resist alien deception and manipulation. Spiritual beings are more advanced than technologically oppressive societies arriving at Earth. Technology is just a tool to get things done. It will never solve most of the problems. Matter of fact, it usually creates more than it solves. Humans have to unify spiritually as a society and renounce all differences. A united and cooperative world will be able to resolve predicaments and instability. Every industry can be reformed to be green, recyclable, and beneficial for the environment and all living beings rather than plundering resources. There are renewable resources that can supply most industries when they're managed properly. Most of them are plant-based and derived from the world's richest forests. Densely packed plantations and jungles grow faster and richer than traditional methods of reforestation and agriculture. Administrations must prevent industries from despoiling the planet's finite and fragile assets, plus deposits. After some time, there won't be enough to supply the human population, and most products go to waste in the short run. Everything made can get rectified and refashioned to continuously recover and improve the natural world instead of taking away from it. Now is the only time to recover the planet and make it extremely sustainable and regenerative before it's too late. Cities, manufacturing, and industrial designs are the focal points to initiate a super green and circular economic system where nothing goes to waste. Everything is either recycled or composted. Aliens waste nothing. They've been collecting everything and using them intensely. Millions of people have been abducted and most have never returned. Aliens have collecting everything, all life forms that exist here, especially human beings, as a resource. They designated human beings as specimens. They've been taking and using them like how people use farm animals. Furthermore, they want to procure this planet as their newest farmhouse. Nobody can get out of this regardless of their status. The people in power have been offered so many gifts and promises, but they didn't know that they will have no power while the planet is depleting rapidly. Aliens know that they will eventually replace every administration and company across the world. That's why there are millions of hybrids placed here. This new breed and alien minions serve their overlords, monitoring everything off space. Since humans had too many wars, used nuclear weapons and have been destroying the planet at an exponential rate, aliens had to incur. This planet wanted by many alien races, many more will come in the future. Some of them are already here, some are watching every action. They don't regard humans as virtuous species living on a beautiful and rich world. This planet has been bestowed upon the human race for them to be the saviors and evolve into the future. Many intelligent civilizations have assumed that technological and industrial growth was the aspiration, yet this is totally wrong for any civilization in the universe. You cannot plunder and consume everything that exists here to develop technologies, grow the economy, manufacture junk, and destroy natural resources. Most of the life forms and things that exist here don't exist elsewhere in space. Humans have to protect and preserve a living, biological storehouse orbiting in this part of the universe. There are others like this, and they're very well protected and concealed from any type of alien interference, as well as destruction and misuse. An ever-growing population will probably destroy its home world or get overtaken by aliens to stop that. This is the threshold in space. Humans are supposed to either shield this planet from cataclysms and alien invasions or suffer the consequences. Unfortunately, no nation, administration or corporation is immune to what's been happening or will happen in the future. They will be the first ones to fall under grave consequences. Climate change is the test that humans have created to either save their only home world or slowly fall under alien domination that will subjugate humans into extinction. Humans will be the next species going extinct. You can see this happening now. Everyone, every company, is required to modify their lifestyle and business outlines to recover the planet and enrich its life balance as much as they can. Of course, this isn't easy, but it will advance human civilization into its next stage in evolution and stewardship. Terraforming begins here on Earth, not on another planet or in space. This is the thing scientists and a lot of people didn't know about until now. Without developing technologies and organisms that will assist in universal terraformation here, it's only a dream to do anything out there. All innovation starts in human mind. Human mind is the home of human spirit, embodying creativity and intelligence unlike anywhere else in the universe. Aliens that come here aren't spiritual, they're pirate organizations. They know climate change and rising temperatures will impoverish the globe and make humans weaker to deal with the aliens. An Independence Day scenario has been played out for decades secretly. Most of the population presume aliens will offer tech, guidance, teachings, spirituality, and so much more. The reality is totally the opposite. Luckily, a lot of companies are taking climate change and pollution very serious. Some companies are turning plastic waste into lumber to make many durable products. Most plastic waste isn't recyclable, but they can be converted into lumber, which has a wider use. Construction, which emits some of the highest greenhouse gas emissions, has to be more sustainable than in the past. Concrete can store tons of carbon dioxide, or it can be swapped with plant-based or recycled plastic building blocks. Plants can do pretty much anything. The materials made of plants can be cultivated in polycultures that sequester carbon dioxide and emit oxygen. Bamboo is one of the best building materials across the globe. It's more durable and eco-friendly than concrete. These new plantations to produce tons of industrial materials sustainably can enrich the environment and remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere instead of any emissions. The regions that include the richest diversity are the most resilient and aid in tackling climate change. Although climate change and its negative effects can be irreversible, being creative and innovative to tackle climate change will advance civilization and make it more consolidated. When people are united worldwide, they can accomplish anything. Tackling climate change and preventing alien invasions will be the biggest challenge of our time. Microbes and bacteria can trigger a new industrial revolution. They can convert and recycle many chemicals and waste into new materials and products. Scientists are working on microbial and bacterial reactions to clear out waste and make sustainable products. Microorganisms and bacteria are the oldest organisms. They're determined to make miracles out of waste and pollutants. Pools of microorganisms can be the new way of farming and producing industrial feedstock. Intercropping of versatile species can unravel the most sustainable productions ever existed. Plant technologies that are being discovered by scientists, engineers, and companies can become some of the most advanced and facilitate universal terraforming as of now. A new era in civilization is being revealed by the innovative minds of like Tesla. Tesla has invented the modern society years ago. Green innovation will create many new inventors and pioneers to reshape civilization and redeem a society and planet in grave danger. Newest technologies can be fully plant-based. They don't have to be made of metals, circuits and transistors. When you examine nature, you can see that organic technologies sustain the largest ecosystems and biodiversity. In the same way, sustainability can augment and organisms can create new networks of manufacturing and production. There are millions of species unique to Earth. Aliens have been collecting most of them for many uses. Humans didn't discover how to fully utilize many species derived from nature as reproductive processing. Companies design products every day, they never considered organic reproduction and sustainability that much. Every product can be organic like it was grown in an orchard. Tree sapping has proven to produce metals, rubber, substances to make many products and eventually technologies. This is where many breakthroughs will be made from now on. Nature is unstoppable. People must stop destroying this magnificent creation and learn how to reproduce it for their own benefit, also to boost productivity in every region. Green energy will power and embellish novel biofabrications that are assembled to be the new manufacturing powerhouses. Buildings will generate more than enough energy to power their capacity and work rate. Most industries will eventually become autonomous and biologically reproductive, and people will just ornament the globe and other planets. Deliveries and takeout will be fully compostable, or packaging will get fully recycled. People will want to either grow more or design new biofabrication startups and businesses in their garages, rooftops, backyards, and other spaces. Biological synthesis is the new form of manufacturing and design. Most versatile and productive species are very procreative, they proliferate faster than others. Fastest growing and reproducing microorganisms, fungi, botanical, can be used for mass manufacturing of many products as well as tech components. Most of the metals, sand, mineral deposits will dissipate due to overuse and wastefulness. Renewable minerals can be harvested with various species rather than mined and extracted from the ground. Bioengineering is the most significant field demanding attention and research to adapt most important species to weather fluctuations, heat, drought, and other issues. The species that are bioengineered to survive Mars-like environments here on Earth can be efficient during space colonization. Scientists are working on boosting the production, growth rate, resilience, and strength of most crucial species that can help during catastrophic events and space colonization. Plant production rate must be faster, richer, easier than natural growth. When numerous species are bioengineered to be increasingly generative, they can assist in tackling climate change, environmental decline, and space ventures. Plant life make up the natural environment, yet microorganisms and animals carry out biocycles for greater growth. Without them, the planet turns into arid rapidly. That's why creating ecosystems and preserving remaining ones is substantial. If the world is depleted, it will be easy for the aliens to gain control and subdue the human population regardless of their status, wealth, and position. Aliens have done this to so many worlds, they only execute the procedures that are tested and worked well. From all the data gathered, it's obvious the universe is a very harsh and difficult space. Humans must oppose any type of extraterrestrial encroachment. Humans are the only species that can save and protect their only home world, which is way more beautiful and abundant than so many alien worlds out in space. If the aliens knew how to safeguard and regenerate their home worlds, they wouldn't be here. They would enhance their living domain and prosperity consistently. Since there are many alien organizations here literally strive to take over this world, the world population must unite as one, a global superforce to protect the planet, their freedom, and the future. Aliens need humans as a workforce to farm the planet, they cannot do this with technology or only on their own. They aren't strong physically, they cannot live on the surface of this planet. That's why they've genetically engineered a new breed of human being called the hybrids to overrule the human society. They're already advising people in power at this time. Humans can be a remarkable race if they can stop conflicts and concentrate on protecting humanity and preserving the natural environment. There are many existential crises occurring simultaneously, and the public doesn't even know about it. They don't want people to know what's being done behind the scenes. More aliens will come to Earth because humans are still destroying and depleting the planet, and climate change is making things worse than it is. Perhaps, unifying human society would be the best bet against the climatic and environmental disasters as well as alien invasions carried out by multiple extraterrestrial corporates. There are corporates that administer the economy, regulations, productions, and the public in so many ways. Alien groups operate similarly, but they're way more oppressive than anything ever seen on Earth. Even the powerful individuals who support and assist alien domination are being used and subdued. Without protecting the planet's natural environment that give life to all living beings including humans, dealing with the aliens would be impracticable. Transforming civilization to a very sustainable, ecological, green energy utopia can resolve most of the complications and boost resilience and productivity in every continent. Some entrepreneurs are testing desalination farming in very dry zones in various continents, and it works well. Corrugated cardboards desalinate water and blow it to greenhouses with wind in order to grow crops with little or no clean water. New green inventions and procedures will rejuvenate many dry and arid regions, eventually regreen them. More carbon storing and capturing areas are required around the globe. Some nations are trying to turn their deserts into farmland or forest that can even sustain vibrant cities, mostly powered by clean energy and innovation. Without plants and trees, the planet cannot sustain any life. All life depends on plants and numerous microorganisms. Every species play a role in a large network of life forms. Nature surrounds the universe in all its diversification and complexity. What's transpiring in nature is also taking place in the universe analogously. Most of the intelligent civilizations are similar to a hive mind that's identical to beehives, ant colonies and other creatures. Most communities possess advanced technology, so technology isn't the prominence. It's easy to acquire technology in space trade. Natural resources including biological life forms and biodiverse habitats akin to the Earth are way more valuable. One day, everyone will have to work for a green job arranged to preserve and enrich the environment, sustainability, and biodiversity that pretty much present everything to human beings. There are already talks about orchestrating a global green economy that's endowed with potent clean energies, regenerative industries, circular systems, green cities, and so on. Opportunities are endless in a self-regenerative and eco-rich societal and financial structure like this. Human beings don't know how to deal with the aliens and how to recover their home world yet, they're slowly figuring it out. Aliens only offered trinkets, so-called advanced technologies to fool many people in power and commerce. These gimmicks were only devised to control and manipulate the masses. That's why alien technologies are treacherous to human society in a number of forms. Humans are intelligent enough to develop many green technologies that will surpass all alien technologies that come here and in proximity. Their technologies aren't that advanced, they're useless on Earth. Mass manufacturing technologies will only deplete any planet and weaken a society to fall under alien command. Green industries and technologies designed to rejuvenate the planet's natural environment and boost its self-regeneration in so many ways are what's needed for the future, not tricky space tech. People were planning to plant billions of trees, and some contractors have been planting trees in millions. This probably won't save the world, planting trees is a good thing anyway. Most people plant the wrong trees in wrong places. Tree plantations better replicate animated ecosystems that capture the most carbon dioxide and produce the most output. People plant like they're trying to start a monoculture farm, and that's not how it works in nature. Nature is a self-regenerating ecocycle. Renewable energies cannot supply the energy needs of the world yet, but they're getting there slowly. In order to minimize emissions so global forests and oceans can absorb them, fossil fuels must be replaced with zero-emission alternatives. Even concrete emits a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide. All businesses, all factories, everything people do emits enormous quantities of greenhouse gases. That's why reaching net zero will be one of the biggest challenges of the modern era. Since people are destroying a beautiful and rich world rapidly, aliens had to infringe into human domain and affairs. When the world population starts protesting what's been done by the aliens, they will have to leave. They're being overseen by space trade regulators, they will remove them out of the solar system when people confront them. There are so many rules and regulations in space, it's a well-established environment that people don't know anything about. One thing that people nor the aliens know much about is that the Earth contains terraform technologies that exist only in a very few planets in the universe. That's why the Earth has to be fortified by its native inhabitants, so it can regenerate itself and begin terraforming suitable spheres in the universe. Humanity can become a very advanced and spiritually sophisticated civilization if it can accomplish this unique mission. There are only a few planets have been chosen to comprise myriads of biological life forms and species, unlike the universe packed with barren worlds. Some of these arid, alien worlds can be terraformed or revitalized with the help of humans. People must grow up and start doing the right things to recover the planet and unify society under a higher purpose. Green energy can light up the entire globe, for it to be one of the most sustainable and biorich in the cosmic creation. Spiritual intelligence arising in human civilization, thus humans can communicate, cooperate, and improve the globe into its most viable state. Plant-based industries can regenerate the environment, capture carbon, and protect forests when they're devised properly. Aliens cannot save the world because they don't have the means to do it. It's up to humans to preserve and regenerate their home world through green innovation, energy, and biodiverse, plant productions as in natural solutions. Nature provides everything that people need to survive and evolve for thousands of years if it's fostered with the participation of billions. If everyone continuously plants and drives an electric car, the climate problem is solved at the outset. More people equal more greenhouse gas emissions that will take centuries to break down and will boil up the planet. People have to go back to their roots and start living more naturally, like they've done for thousands of years. Gardening can make anyone in harmony with nature. If a collective action is proposed to transform the entire globe into a diverse rainforest that will supply every need of human civilization and stabilize climate, wouldn't you go after it? It's obvious everything can be plant-based and can be grown out of plants and trees without harming the environment. Of course, monocultures should be prohibited. Many new ecosystems as biofarms can be created, existent ones can be conserved. We need biological changes in the industrial designs that generate the products to the world community. There are aliens everywhere, there are many alien bases in remote locations near populated areas. Most people don't know what the aliens are really up to. More of them are coming to the solar system from their star systems every year. There are millions of hybrids placed in many nations to overrule humanity soon. Human beings can become a remarkable society if they can protect the natural environment, increase its resilience to benefit biodiversity and human population. An ever-growing population will demand more resources that will be scarcer due to climate change and environmental decadence. Humans are only a component in a living biological system encircling the Earth. For this reason, the more they grow divergently, the richer and more prolific the environment will get in every region. Temperate zones are shifting due to rising temperatures and fluctuations. Tropical zones will grow bigger when climate is hotter in larger areas, then new zones can be reconditioned as tropical rainforests for greater yields, biodiversity and carbon capture. Every forest and rainforest ecosystem was expanding until humans started cutting and burning them down for various destructive industries. Industry is vital to civilization, and it can be adjusted to grow more, replenish more, and utilize renewables. Battery technology is improving every year. A company has found how to make graphite anode alternative from lignin extracted from trees. This is proof that batteries and other technologies can be made with plant and tree-based materials and through phytomining. Phytomining is the method to extract metals from plants grown over mining sites. The Earth's crust is rich with metals and minerals, yet mining devastates vast habitats. Phytomining doesn't dig into the ground, plants absorb metals and minerals with their roots. There are plants that outstretch into deep ground with their roots to assimilate various minerals. Through a process, metals are filtered from these plants. This may be how most of the metals are extracted for manufacturing in the future. The Earth's environment should be as pristine as possible, so it can regenerate, capture more carbon dioxide, also break down other greenhouse gases. Although people love technology and feel like they can't live without it, miscellaneous plant productions, green technologies will exceed all technologies, especially the ones alien in origin. Alien technologies aren't sustainable, that's why alien worlds have been depleted into extinction. The Earth has to be conserved as the biological storehouse in this part of the universe to grow richer and terraform dying or depleted planetary systems. There are some moons that can be colonized and terraformed as Earth, like here in this solar system. They may be more suitable for terraforming than Mars, they're just farther out. People need some level of technology, specifically the ones that can regenerate and enrich the Earth, also utilized for terraforming. Green technologies can perform these one day, nevertheless we aren't talking about greenwashing commercialized by large corporations and companies. Global green economy will get bigger, more profitable than any other financial systems and sector. Carbon captured from carbon captured facilities can be exploited to conjure very strong glass to make photovoltaics. This new carbon glass is stronger and more durable than other materials. It can be used for any industry over and over again. It's also made with captured carbon from the atmosphere, which reduces carbon dioxide levels slowly. Glass can be fully renewable when it's made from carbon, like diamonds. A lot of sectors consume a tremendous amount of sand to make glass and concrete. Sand is getting scarcer every year. Captured carbon can be used to manufacture tons of new products, packaging and renewable carbon glass. This can be used for packaging and bottling in a circular system that's absent of single-use plastics. Carbon is the most abundant element, and it can be used for anything. Carbon usually increases performance of many technologies and industrial materials. That's why it's better to make many things out of captured carbon instead of non-renewable, pollutant substances. Carbon glass is revolutionary, it's very durable and versatile. Many new types of green technologies will be discovered by scientists, researchers, and engineers. There is no end to green innovation, everything relies on flora and fauna. Organic biocycles are continuous because they recycle every element over and over again to conceive new organisms and life forms. Now, tech is made of metals molded into circuits. In the future, they can be genetically engineered as intelligent, organic mixtures that execute necessary tasks and computation. The technologies and sustainable productions that can be created here on Earth are unmatched by the aliens. Humans will transcend the extraterrestrial organizations and the ones that exist in proximity of this solar system. Sustainability is always the main goal for every country and industry. Biodiverse growth and expansion corresponds to global green and sustainable growth. Biodiversity is the main factor that vitalizes and rejuvenates every acre of the Earth. Without biodiversity, every nation and territory would dry out in a short period. The most biodiverse regions like densely packed rainforests create their own rainfall, food sources, resources, biome without needing any help from the outside world. This is the power of biodiversity. It can be utilized in green industries and productions here on out. Everything has to replicate biodiverse rainforests as a prolific output. Every species add up to the living, biological system. Most valuable resources are always biological, and the aliens know about this. They don't care much about other things anymore, they still try to acquire minerals and metals as well. Humans are barely discovering the power of biodiversity. Most productions and industries have always been monocultures or oil-based in the past. Biodiverse productions easily excel any industrial revolution and contemporary sector. The richer and denser in biodiversity in an open system will always yield greater than other harvests. Biodiversity consistently grows, get richer, denser and more resilient every year without human interference. Thus, humans can use this new power to rectify every business sector around the world. Many new green technologies and sustainable productions are under development. Nothing has exceeded fossil fuels in terms of energy capacity and usefulness, but green energy, tech, and innovation will rapidly outperform fossil fuels to set a new economic and societal structure in motion. An extremely green and sustainable civilization with a stable climate will outmatch all alien races that come here and will come in the future. Of course, the solar system is supposed to be protected from any kind of alien intrusion. There may be a fake alien invasion and second coming soon. They're both planned to deceive and take advantage of the masses. Alien invasions have been executed by multiple extraterrestrial races and groups for decades. They've been in competition with each other over coveted resources and territories. This is one of the most dangerous events occurring at this time. The aliens have noticed that humans have been destroying a beautiful and rich world that they could exploit for their own benefits. Humans have to become the saviors of planet Earth as soon as possible before it's impossible to redeem it. Individual and collective action both work efficiently. An individual can invent and figure out new ways to change the world for the better. Humans have so much potential, way more than any alien races out there. The ones that are here now are just scavenger syndicates that work for alien overlords that never come to Earth, but watching everything from afar. The space is a very dangerous and bitter expanse. It would be overwhelming for any human being to attempt to live in any extraterrestrial collective or society. Everything that people love and enjoy doesn't exist in space. That's why the only way to rescue the universe is through terraforming of many new Earth-like worlds that can embody life and spread it generously. The aliens don't have the means to get this done, humans can. Then human civilization will humbly emerge as an advanced, united and life-giving, eco-rich community into the multiverse. Many new multiverses will be created by the consolidated exertion and work people have done. This is a totally new era in human civilization. Humans will either undermine their home world or recover and enrich it continually. A green lantern is being projected upon the Earth to awaken the masses and call them for a unique mission of planetary biorevival. For instance, there are many invasive plants and weeds that can be turned into clean energy. Not every plant is useful for human beings, yet they can be useful when they're turned into feedstock or biofuels. You can grow pretty much everything from pits. Every household can grow a forest farm from the pits saved of the fresh produce they consume every year. Don't throw the seeds and pits, just plant them somewhere, even in the woods. They will eventually sprout and grow in the forest. There is no end to what you can do when you work with nature. Most of it is totally renewable when you don't cut or burn it. A lot of people have been leaving populated urban areas after the pandemic. Many people also started homesteads in suburban and rural areas. Crisis actually forces people to do the right things for themselves and the planet. Most of the planet must be left out as wilderness so forests and biodiversity can grow richer. There is an estimation that planting at least a few trillion trees in a diverse setting emulating jungles can turn human civilization pollution-free and carbon negative in a few decades. Of course, everyone would be planting thousands or more trees and grow as much vegetation and plants as they can. There is no end to botanic and biological progress here in this world and out in space. Alien beings are still a part of the universal, natural world, regardless how they're detached from it. That's why they cannot stay on the surface of the Earth for too long. Microbial contamination can infect the entire crew, bases, and home planets. Hence, they need to deceive and control human beings to carry out necessary tasks. They want to eventually subjugate the whole human population under one order. This would be very harmful for human society. Saving the environment to preserve its self-abundance can provide the means for human society to defy alien occupation. Alien technologies were never sustainable by any means. Technological civilization have outstripped their planet's abundance and turned out to be very oppressive. Aliens don't have the means to save the world nor humanity. Therefore, humans everything they need to save themselves and their magnificent home world thriving with life. Humans are definitely destined to transcend technological, commercial, and hierarchical collectives in every aspect of life and evolution if they can regenerate and safeguard natural abundance. Of course, climate change, ecological collapse are major concerns now. They can impoverish human society into extinction and debilitate every individual onto their knees to comply with extraterrestrial orders. There are many solutions to climate change, but most of them aren't as profitable and competent to run the economy. Luckily, green hydrogen and natural solutions can integrate into a more potent and safe economic system that can continuously vitalize and replenish every region, habitat, and life form that exist here. Unfortunately, so-called green technologies may not be green after all. They require a tremendous amount of rare earth metals to be manufactured to supply the energy and tech needs of the world. Rare earth metals mining devastate acres of land and generate toxic waste. This waste also pollute the water streams, groundwater and other natural systems that people and all living beings depend on. For this reason, perhaps no technology will ever be fully green if it's not made from plants sustainably. Eventually, All kinds of manufacturing must utilize plant harvests without harming or exhausting natural resources. Rare earth metals are difficult to mine and separate into individual elements for processing. There are many alien races who are after rare metal deposits that remain in Earth's crust. Some of these are very rare, and many alien races want to procure them for their own benefit. People don't need too many devices to have fulfilling lifestyles. Most households are packed with gadgets and electronics that are mostly discarded when new ones come out. Electronics waste is as detrimental as plastic waste that threaten marine life, pollute the oceans, rivers, and habitats. Every type of useful electronics must be redesigned to be fully recyclable in advance, so they don't get thrown away every few years. The broken or slowing electronics can be repaired with new parts and chips. There are companies who've been trying to make modular electronics that can be repaired and upgraded with new modules anytime. That way, companies can make more from modules and parts and cut e-waste significantly. Electronics, devices, and smartphones all are made of rare earth metals. Mining pollutes and devastates the planet exponentially. Companies must look into making electronics from renewable resources other than a bunch of metals. The most intelligent organism is humans. Humans are a type of biological technology. Everything a human body does demonstrates a high level of biotechnology that's been evolving on itself, also altered genetically by higher intelligence. One day, when biotechnology is fully developed, electronic devices can be made from organic materials instead of metals without harming the environment. This is going to be the next stage in development of human society. It's best to restrict and regulate the overuse and overconsumption of technology at every level of society. People assume tech is the best thing ever, and they cannot stop staring and swiping on their smartphones all day. Education and expertise are more important than technology itself. People can work on more significant matters than technology. Of course, green energy is necessary to minimize greenhouse gas emissions, but it still requires a tremendous quantity of rare earth metals. Mining them excessively will only contribute to environmental pollution and destruction that are both major issues of modern society. Aliens have been watching all human activity for a long time. Humans have been misusing a beautiful and abundant world that the aliens could use for their own benefit, so they had to infiltrate. People have to stop destroying all that exists here on Earth to secure their future. Otherwise, the planet will deplete into extinction and become a hot desert. Then the aliens will be able to exploit the masses like farm animals. This is how they see humans at this time. Humans have to unite to protect everything unique to Earth and unite as the saviors of this beautiful and lively jewel. Some indigenous communities didn't have any technology, but they were living in the richest rainforests that provided that everything for hundreds of years. People have to stop polluting and overusing the planet and start growing many new forests to nurture themselves and all other beings. After some time, these dense jungle farms will produce materials, foods, and organics increasingly without anything in return. People will always need more energy to have a level of comfort. Perhaps, carbon-negative biofuels, oils and feedstock can supersede fossil fuels in every sector. Most plants are very versatile, so many things are made out of them. Biofuels made of divergent plants can be cleaner and greener than fossil fuels, also sequester tons of carbon. Another thing is that, there is so much provocation towards conflicts between countries and corporations, whereas everybody wants the same thing in life. Remaining resources, natural, metal, organic or other types, must be managed carefully to stop ecological deterioration and resource depletion. It seems like everything is dissipating extremely fast, that after 100 years or so, there won't be anything left. 100 years isn't a long time, either, for a civilization. People will always need everything that exists here for thousands of years. Consuming everything to grow the economy, heat up the planet, generate pollution and waste isn't the best path for advancement. Aliens might be inciting conflicts, since they plan to take advantage of every mistake and dissociation. Every kind of animosity and conflict can be settled before they weaken the world community. Furthermore, conflicts won't ever solve the real problems that the aliens examine to benefit from with the help of selected individuals in power and commerce. In order to preserve the planet's natural abundance, humans are supposed to cooperate innovatively and unite as a super green force. Supply chains of every industry are fundamental to every industry and country across the globe. Some countries produce and distribute most of the resources and products, as well as control supply chains. The problem is most of the supply chains will never be sustainable no matter how green and eco-friendly they're labeled. Metal deposits are very valuable. To establish a greener and zero-carbon economy, every nation needs a tremendous amount of metals, especially rare earths. It seems like valuable and rare metals are being dissipated increasingly, most of them never get recycled. Mining of any kind devastate very large areas of fertile lands, including rich forests. Mining companies have been destroying the largest rainforests to dig and acquire valuable ores. Most of the metal deposits underneath the dense forests are untouched and intact. Unfortunately, some people and companies believe that establishing a green economy to tackle climate change would be more polluting and destructive than subsidizing fossil fuels. That's why somehow, Some way, scientists have got to discover and invent sustainable metal replacements for every industry. Without metals, manufacturing of countless products would come to an end, the economy would collapse. It's not just fossil fuels, numerous metals, they're extracting, processing, molding, manufacturing run the economy as well. Manufacturing depends on mining of many rare and more common metals, yet nobody knows how long this will last. Natural resources are at stake at this time as a result of climate change, fluctuating weather patterns and environmental destruction. Some stakeholders state that the Earth's crust is abundant with all types of metals, including rare varieties. The problem is mining companies are digging deeper, they employ more people in poverty to use for mining. Mining is one of the most arduous jobs, it's also health hazardous. Phytomining is barely being implemented to extract minerals and metals from plants without digging. Plant roots can reach deep ground to capture various metals, then these plants can be processed for extraction. Hopefully, this will be the sustainable and equitable solution to destructive mining systems. Due to growing population, every resource including metals are being consumed and squandered increasingly. Possibly, the mining, use and utilization of metals as well as other significant resources will be regulated and restricted to preserve remaining deposits and rare materials. People don't need that many electronics, cars, products, appliances, and all the other things that are made of metals or manufactured with large machinery. There is a rise of machines worldwide and more machines are being developed and assembled to supply the growing demand. Perhaps, people need more nature to survive and thrive rather than myriads of smart machines. Machines are being designed to do everything that people could do without harming the environment or depleting the planet's finite resources and fragile habitats. That's why supply chains must be re-evaluated and minimized to conserve what's left and build a more sustainable civilization that actually grows, conserves and replenishes more than it consumes. So many people believe that the world and the universe are infinite, but that's totally false. The planet is very delicate and finite at the same time. Climate change, warming, degradation and other human-caused, unfortunate events will exhaust the planet ever more. Supply chains of every country and industry are rendered mostly by natural resources that make up the planet's ecological balance and growth. The hottest places have been suffering severe scarcities, whereas colder areas had preserved most of the natural resources. In the near future, cold places will get hotter and will lose their abundance. That's why, the hottest places should get restored as eco-rich, green, and stable zones to be able to tackle climate change and its negative outcome. Just planting trees or executing natural and tech solutions in various, secure districts won't solve anything. This is a collective action and every region is included. The driest and hottest regions can still capture tons of carbon through natural solutions. Ocean-based solutions are as effective as Earth-based ones, they can yield greater goods. Many nations across the largest desert have agreed upon creating a green barrier to hinder desertification and rewild the driest areas. It's been working so far, hence this can be undertaken in many other territories to prevent desertification, build new forests to rewild and regenerate drying, arid zones. Tackling climate change will be the greatest undertaking for mankind. The planet is losing its self-sufficiency and people may have less and less, hoping that the aliens will save them and give them what they need. They want human society as weak, divided, confused as possible, so the alien planetary domination can continue without disturbance. If people are strong, awake, and united, they can resist the alien invasions that have been projected for decades. Most of the manipulation is mental and very subtle. Not many knows about what's going on and how they've been conditioned to acquiesce. For instance, climate change and other devastating calamities will undermine the planet in all available means. Society will get impoverished even in wealthier countries, consequently administrations will have less power and resources to withstand alien deception and dominance. This is why, this is a great threshold that will define human destiny. No aliens are here to benefit the humankind by any means. Of course, a planet coveted by many alien races would be attempted to taken over if its native inhabitants were destroying it rapidly. This is what's been undercover. People are mostly benevolent, but they don't know what they do to the planet and its natural balance. You can see better when you examine from satellite imagery, green cover and ice caps have been shrinking. Deserts have been broadening, forests have been cleared out, pollution has been skyrocketing worldwide. Besides, the aliens can see all of these. People used to grow more and make everything from plants to survive for thousands of years. Greenhouse gas emissions and environmental changes were minimum. Now, there is a chance for every industry to minimize their emissions and capture tons of carbon through natural and technological innovation. Innovation will never end as of now. Some engineers that worked on electric cars have discovered ways to retrofit cooling towers with carbon dioxide capture and storage. There are so many of these towers in every country. Possibly, carbon dioxide can be captured from power plants and stored for industrial usage. That way, most of the highest emissions will be minimized and utilized for several sectors. Carbon is very versatile, carbon dioxide is very valuable in the global market. Every industry can support and make use of biodiversity to increase output and sustainability. Biodiversity is what makes life and nature thrive in every inch around the globe. You cannot let the richest jungles turn into savanna to cultivate monocultures. Plant-based and vegan businesses and startups have been very successful because they protect biodiversity, animals. Forests also make products from a diversity of plants and crops. This is proof any product that nourish biodiversity will always succeed, prosper, and spread its seeds. A lot of alien races don't have the renewable resources that make up nature here on Earth solely. That's why they want this planet as their own and humanity as a workforce in the interest of planetary farming and extraction. This isn't anything new, humans have been doing this to each other for thousands of years. History is playing out itself via the aliens versus the humans. You can already feel the effects of alien occupation across the world. The planet is changing so fast, its environment is in grave danger. If the planet loses its ecological balance, it will be impossible for humans to secure their freedom and future against the aliens. For this reason, they promote environmental destruction and even climate change strategies, so humanity can get more disabled than it is. Though forests are the most significant assets against climate change and global warming, they're being burnt down all over the world. This is the evidence that humanity is a very reckless society that the aliens see as very barbaric. There are many ways to use nature to benefit humans, also the climate, yet most people don't know how to. The education about recovering the planet, the environment, forests, and stabilizing climate must be mainstream worldwide, so every world citizen can live, work and do the right things according to this new instruction. Unfortunately, industrial nations have been contributing to climate change more than others. Luckily, industrial designs can be modified to benefit the ecological balance, climate, and natural resources. There are various tweaks to implement into every sector to conceive proper configurations. Alien technologies won't help humanity to progress nor become an advanced civilization. Life isn't just about technology, there are so many other subjects to engage in. Technological improvements and inventions will not fully steady climate and cool down the planet either. Green solutions are the best as of now. Aliens come here from very barren worlds compared to the Earth. They don't even have the natural resources that the Earth comprises abundantly. All the problems can be solved with Earth-based undertaking instead of waiting for the aliens to do it, which they will never do. These are pirate, scavenger organizations coming to Earth from space to gain control of coveted resources unique to planet Earth. There are so many alien and intelligent civilizations in the universe, yet the alien worlds are depleted, dying, or very arid. The Earth is a very special sphere and humans are lucky to be living here. Humanity hasn't been overtaken by the aliens yet, they've been trying so hard, though. Humans have the chance to surpass all alien races in the shortest time possible. People need to realize that natural solutions to climate change and warming can rejuvenate the planet and generate provisions for the survival of human society. People will always need many products to survive and live comfortably. Most of them can be made of plant-based materials that regenerate and enrich the environment by sequestering tons of carbon. Carbon is the main element of all carbohydrates and feedstock. Most of the raw materials used for manufacturing and productions contain carbon that plants absorb from the air. The atmospheric carbon and some other potent gases will increasingly warm up the planet. Sun is only transmitting its photons to Earth and all life depends on it. People didn't know how much they relied upon sunlight until now. During times of crisis, awareness and innovation increase significantly. Aliens will never be able to offer the things to benefit humankind, they're only here for their malevolent schemes which are planned for planetary acquisition. In order to compete and oppose the alien invasions, people have to protect the natural environment, consolidate to tackle climate change by all means necessary. In a heating world, production rate will decrease every year, extinctions will be common. Humans have the means to stop all of these if they can unite as a super green force, continuously regenerating the planet rather than plundering its resources. Everyone is a part of a larger, global, living system. Everything people do, make, consume, work for has been affecting the whole. There isn't much time to take global action against the extraterrestrial interference and environmental changes. There is a great diversity of plant life, bacteria, and microorganisms that can be exploited for sustainable productions to supply the populace. Microorganisms are the oldest of all, and they can do miracles, just like various bacteria and plants. Many alien civilizations have depleted their home worlds because they emphasize technology excessively. People shouldn't make the same mistakes and end up subjugated by them. Technology won't make anyone smarter, study, research and practice can. The planet can be rehabilitated as a universal, production rainforest that will produce more than what people need, also capture and break down greenhouse gases to repair climate. Ecological advancements and green technologies that can be achieved here on Earth will surpass alien technologies. These alien civilizations that come to Earth and already here secretly have devastated their planets to a point of no return. They wiped out all life for the sake of technological growth. The same thing is happening here on Earth now. People think technology is the best thing ever. Technological and industrial growth will only deplete a planet's finite and fragile environment that must be preserved to expel alien forces. Jupiter may become a second sun to warm up new planets and moons to be terraformed in the future. Mars and various moons like Titan will get warmer and more suitable for terraforming once Jupiter is illuminated. The Earth will receive more solar energy to be used but not heat because Jupiter is relatively smaller than the Sun. Advanced alien civilizations make use of solar energy in all means necessary. Most of the planetary systems that aliens inhabit contain two suns. Of course, without conserving the Earth's biorich environment, any attempt of regenerating or terraforming the Earth and other planets would be impractical. You can see that the malevolent alien forces have no regard for the resources they don't need, like the forests. That's why they trick individuals to continue the devastation of large areas of forests for personal and industrial gain. The wealth accumulated by people in power and commerce will be meaningless in the near future. The aliens know about this and use these individuals to complete the alien plan of planetary takeover. The people who complied with the alien agendas will lose all of their power and wealth. Money will be useless in a depleted world ruined by climate change, deforestation, and other negative events. For this reason, the emphasis on the environment, climate, and natural resources should be top priority for all nations and administrations as well as corporations. The aliens will easily gain total control of the world's most powerful administrations and corporations when they don't have the means to take care of themselves. The world's finite and fragile habitats and resources are getting more exhausted every year. The aliens have completely outstripped their planet into extinction. That's the reason they come here to take over this planet for their own benefit. This is one of the most dangerous events that can occur in any newly developing civilization that has no idea how things are in the universe. The aliens have advanced technology, yet they don't have the amazing technologies, productions, and eco-rich habitats that can be developed by human society. Most of the alien technologies look so astonishing, but they're useless for the human society. They're well designed to manipulate and deceive the masses, as well as deplete the world in a short time. Wildfires have been ignited by the people mind controlled by these malevolent alien beings. They want to weaken society with climate change and disasters related to that. Most of the planet may wind up uninhabitable in less than a century. There are many underground and underwater alien bases in remote locations to track and influence populated areas. People may have to build massive subsurface facilities to contain the world population. Most resilient regions are the richest rainforests scattered across the world. They've been destroying exponentially. People have to regenerate the entire globe as a rich and productive rainforest and leave most of the planet to wildlife. This planet isn't only for humans, there are countless life forms sharing this jewel as their only home. Many of these species may be bioengineered to survive harsh spheres like Mars and many others in the future. Aliens have been collecting myriads of species for space trade and experimentation. They think humans will destroy this biologically rich planet, so they believe taking over the world is the only option. Technology is easy to acquire from space trade. People better merge and enhance nature with green technologies that can tackle climate change and boost organic production to benefit the human population and other living beings. Animal and plant species exist in a biocycle that grow and reprocesses itself continuously. Humans were always a part of this until they started growing and expanding industrially and technologically. Humans have the chance to integrate natural productions like forest and farming systems into every industry to secure and boost the natural environment encompassing the globe. This is the path taken by the most advanced civilizations. They do everything to protect and enrich their planet's biological environment that gives life to them and to other beings abundantly. The tech gadgets and devices developed from alien technologies have made people weaker. A lot of people look at a screen and swipe aimlessly. Matter of fact, most people were more productive and social in the recent past, when technology wasn't so prevalent. Aliens know how to grant technologies to control the masses. They'll eventually turn human beings into livestock. People have used animals for thousands of years. Their purpose isn't much different from what people have done to the animals. An adequate level of technology is needed for any society, but it shouldn't be the main goal of advancement. Scientists are barely discovering plant-based tech and manufacturing that can unravel a more sustainable and eco-friendly future for mankind. Plants can be the main stock for manufacturing as well as replace metals obtained via destructive mining systems. Of course, any kind of production has to be revamped as polyculture to protect nature and sequester more carbon. Carbon is abundant and very versatile for manufacturing. Carbon levels are increasing in the atmosphere. Carbon can be captured for industrial use and manufacturing of countless products sustainably. When carbon dioxide and other gases and their main elements are captured from the air and utilized industrially, for construction, agriculture and other means, greenhouse gases will be rapidly removed from the atmosphere. Climate has to be seasonally steady, and this cannot be accomplished without removing greenhouse gases. Water security is in danger worldwide. Most regions are getting drier and more deserted every year, meanwhile flooding is more common than usual. Desalination generates toxic brine that pollutes the oceans and seas. The best way to produce water can be from the use of solar hydro panels. Solar panels are in full production to decarbonize the global grid. Solar panels generate tons of energy, also can produce water from the air moisture. Low levels of moisture in deserts are still adequate for solar water generation. Due to rising temperatures, water will be scarcer in many regions, you can already see this now. Tackling climate change and securing fresh water may be impossible across the world. Therefore, new ways of water production is needed to irrigate crops for industrial and city usage. Aliens will never be able to develop green technologies and plant productions that can terraform many worlds. They want this planet as their own, so they could extract everything that exists here until nothing is left. This is a very dangerous phenomenon that most of the population has no clue about. People need to get educated about the alien presence and their agendas. Humans can be a remarkable civilization that's very advanced spiritually, societally, and ecologically. There are many ways to increase forest-based productions to supply most sectors and manufacturing sustainably. There are millions of plant, tree species that can do pretty much anything that the aliens will never be able to do. Plants make up nature, animals embellish and fertilize, they coexist by nurturing each other. Humans aren't the top of the food chain, they must stop killing so many animals, breaking ecosystems apart. Microorganisms and bacterial processing can beget new industries that can capture carbon, clear out pollution, contamination, recycle many things and so much more. Microorganisms and bacteria have been evolving for millions of years. Their skill in processing can be harnessed industrially to make new components and products. The research in this field will bring out many new inventions and mechanisms to tackle climate change and exploit pollution as a resource. Many companies are trying to recycle everything that they manufacture. Eventually, recycling of everything will be feasible because everything will be designed to be recycled in advance. It will get cheaper than purchasing new materials for manufacturing. Zero waste and pollution is as important as zero carbon for the economy, for climate stability and the environment. Waste is a global problem. People and companies waste things that are still in good condition and that can be reused and repurposed. In the future, waste will be processed to feed industrial-scale 3D printers made for manufacturing of everything. 3D manufacturing is a new field in business, it's barely being acknowledged by companies and startups. So much is going to waste, most of these can be recycled and even reprocessed for 3D printing. 3D parts and components can revive outdated nuclear plants that are needed for a cleaner grid. When nuclear fusion is operational, it will generate infinite energy without warming up the planet. Natural resources can be replenished with efficient green energy establishments all over the world. Natural resources like rich and dense forests are being ruined because of wildfires, deforestation, rising temperatures. When the most efficient green energy sources are placed near natural habitats in danger, these areas can be safeguarded and rejuvenated with new and native species. It will be easier to reproduce and propagate essential, exotic species with the power of green energy. Many new cities will flourish across the globe, resembling the Garden of Eden. New sources of green energy will be discovered sooner or later. Solar and wind are some of the best, they still have ups and downs, just like any other sector. Everything requires fuel, perhaps industrialization should be limited to protect the planet and conserve nature. The growing population demands more resources, products, and fuel that the planet won't be able to deliver in less than a century. That's why a totally new industrial revolution is underway to transform civilization into its most sustainable and environmentally beneficial formation. Essentials like water, food, fuel, provisions will be less due to climate change and resource depletion. People have overused the planet recklessly for the sake of economic and industrial growth and expansion. Some people think there is still a lot, but that will be gone in a short time. The elites have been tricked by the aliens, assuming they were going to dominate the world. They've been used to carry out the alien agenda. After some time, there won't be enough for them to hold their power and presence in place. The aliens will replace elites and dominate human society only for their own gain and purposes. The planet has to heal itself for a while to hinder extinctions, but it cannot do that when it's being altered industrially and plundered for its resources. People need to leave a large part of the globe to wildlife and forests as well as plant more forests to stop desertification, for carbon sequestration and to boost biodiversity. Biodiversity will always be the most significant aspect of planet Earth. Without biological diversity, human population and the environment will collapse with no chance of recovery. There are only a few decades to recover the planet, turn civilization into its most sustainable form and tackle all the environmental problems like deforestation, climate change, desertification, wildfires, and so on. You can tell that all of these are intensifying every year, and the aliens will only take advantage of a weakening and confused society. The bad things that nations have done to each other in history is recurring again, this time it's the aliens trying to colonize and take over the planet. There are millions of alien-human hybrids integrated into society, being guided to eventually overrule humankind. Don't think any aliens or hybrids are friends to human beings or here for spiritual uplifting. The reality is totally the opposite. The aliens that come here aren't spiritual beings, but they will promise spiritual enlightenment to selected individuals and their followers. There are physics, people with intuition, and some of them have been given false messages by the alien beings. All of these are part of the alien deception. Aliens know how to manipulate other beings mentally, they know what humans want and desire the most. People want to live spiritual, fulfilling lives. Materials usually don't provide this consummation. Human beings are spiritual beings, unlike the robotic and hierarchical alien collectives coming from space and already here. This spirituality can be empowered by uniting the human population under a higher purpose of planetary protection and revival. Overconsumption, meaningless endeavors, and excessive industrial growth will only deplete a beautiful planet wanted by many alien races. People can start living more spiritual lives, not overly religious, though. Spirituality is empowered when people do everything to protect and enrich the natural environment and its biodiversity. That's why industrial designs must be rectified to benefit the natural world, its fragile habitats and life forms. Mass extinctions will wipe out the human race next. You can see that even the most essential resource, which is water, is in grave danger. There won't be enough water to waste on destructive industries in the near future, the economy will crash. The most destructive industries tend to be the most profitable, and they run the economy. Soon enough, they will heat up the planet and outstrip its natural environment from its vitality. Humans have been growing as a locust swarm encircling the earth, now they have to change their mindsets and work on preserving and growing more to boost up ecological balance and stabilize climate. Climate is showing people what they've been doing wrong. The signs are all out there. Everything has to get amended by global action and reformation. Humans are mostly friendly and altruistic. One person cannot save the world, the whole world can. Reforestation is easy, the challenge is to engineer the most efficient green technologies to clean the atmosphere and the world, then increase its sustainability forever. Some people think plant-based businesses and industries can save the world. Some of them still emit greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases must be captured before they reach the layers of the atmosphere. Membrane filtering can soak up gases, so they are removed and stored the moment they're emitted. Greenhouse gases can be stored and filtered into main elements to be used to make many new products in a circular economy. A totally circular economy can bring out a more sustainable and clean civilization. There are new membrane and other types of filters that can trap greenhouse gases before they're emitted. In that way, greenhouse gas emissions can be a thing of the past. The whole world cannot keep emitting, then wait for someone else to remove pollution. Pollution can be resolved right where it begins in the first place. A growing population will require more energy, more housing, and products. This will produce way more pollution and emissions than now. Civilization needs people to progress, however depleting the only world people can live on to grow the economy and advance civilization isn't radical. The elites have been accumulating the riches and controlling society for centuries. Several alien groups have made a pact with them for planetary domination. The thing these people didn't know is that the planet isn't infinite. In a depleted world, they would be the first ones to fall under alien order, which they've been for a while. Technology is never the main concern in the universe. Most alien civilizations don't care about technology or other contrivances that look like magic but made to deceive. The rich and abundant worlds like the Earth are all very well protected and hidden from alien interference except the Earth. Aliens knew that if they granted several technologies and offerings to elites, they would rapidly gain control of society as well as devastate the natural environment, so people would become dependent on the aliens. All kinds of trickery are being played out by the aliens to gain access to coveted resources and establish dominion. Most of the planets are very barren and desolate in the universe. The Earth is a very rare and rich jewel that's thriving with life. More aliens will enter the solar system every year to somehow take over this world secretly and subtly. This has already been coming about all over the world for decades. The alien invasions have been underway without human consent. The aliens predicted that humans were going to rapidly destroy a beautiful and rich planet that they could exploit and manage better. Countless life forms unique to Earth don't exist elsewhere. They're all valuable for space trade and reproduction. Ideally, this planet and its native inhabitants can preserve it to terraform myriads of planets in the universe. For this reason, the Earth must be restored and shielded from any type of destruction, depletion, and disasters. Every year, there is less to consume and use up to grow and expand the economy. Economic degrowth may be more radical to put an end to disastrous aftermath. Eventually, humans will become a very advanced civilization if they consider their environmental impact and end it as soon as possible with collective action. This required reformation and transformation in every aspect of life and business. Perhaps, carbon can be the main resource to track and manage environmental impact successfully. Carbon is the most abundant element, and it runs the system. It also displays environmental impact flagrantly. The less greenhouse gas emissions and emitted carbon shows less devastation. In the recent past, society assumed overconsumption and economic growth were the ultimate goals. After the industrial revolutions, population has been rising aggressively. Human population has been consuming 1,5 Earths, they're basically devouring everything into extinction. You can tell why the aliens had to attempt to take over this planet to stop this, also seize upon it all. Humans haven't been good saviors of their home world. There is a great opportunity ahead to launch a global regeneration scheme. It may mandate economic degrowth, some minimalism, absolute reusing, recycling, reprocessing in every sector. Since carbon is one of the main elements, it can be utilized to make countless products, fuels and so on. In the near future, everything will generate its own energy with zero emissions. Scientists are working on batteries that charge themselves via sunlight. This is proof that everything will charge themselves via solar, wind and autonomously. Autonomous manufacturing and driving are mainstream now. Autonomous recharging and energy generation will be the next big thing. Carbon nurtures plants, soils, and biodiversity in every way possible when it's absorbed by canopies of forests and large tracts of vegetation. Carbon fiber can be made by captured carbon, and some companies are working on this. Green cities will be critical to tackle climate change as well. Cities will look like they're being overtaken by plants and vegetation. Somehow, someway, the world's largest cities must become carbon neutral or negative in a few decades. Tackling climate change will be the biggest challenge. It can also unite humanity under one mission of planetary regeneration and revival. People must know that there are many alien establishments, bases, hybrids, schemes to control and take advantage of humanity. Some elites have been persuaded to trust the alien agendas, which will only use them on the way. Largest corporations and administrations didn't anticipate that climate change could outstrip the planet's productions and natural growth that every human being rely on to survive. No matter how much money you have, you cannot survive in a completely wasted world. The people who live out of cities know about this. Wildfires have been ignited by several individuals in power, and this will get them one day. Fossil fuels alone cannot sustain the economy nor a civilization. The natural environment has to be very robust and resilient to be able to absorb the rest of the greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere. The people who have the power will only get employed to complete the alien agendas, then they'll get discarded and impoverished in a short time. Climate is managed by the forest cover and oceans encircling the Earth. Dense forests create rainfall and purify it into streams and rivers. Oceans absorb tons of carbon dioxide via cyanobacteria, also keep the planet cooler. Ocean temperatures are rising annually in accordance with global warming. Some forests started to emit carbon partially. This will lead to devastating consequences. Instead of industrial emissions, greenhouse gases must be removed to be basic materials for all industries and productions. For that, carbon capture and utilization is supposed to be the main principle to run the economic and societal systems. Of course, pollution or waste are the other major concerns. Production systems can modify themselves to mimic nature in every way possible to minimize waste and pollution. Everything can be designed to be composted, reused and recycled in advance before it's in full production. Agriculture methods can sequester tons of carbon for greater yields when they implement polyculture into their agronomic structures. Cities can be remodeled and renovated as expanding forest ecosystems rather than concrete jungles that people live and work in. People are the descendants of primates that inhabit the richest rainforests scattered around the world. This is the most sustainable way of living, growing new rich and diverse forests for everything that people need to survive and live comfortably, also to sequester and break down greenhouse gases. Agroforestry can be the prime blueprint of civilization, rather than alien technologies contrived to mind control and enslave the masses while the planet is dying out. If humanity can preserve the Earth's life balance and diversity, probably re-terraform it into its most robust phase in existence, they can begin terraforming countless new worlds, to become the most advanced in the universe. A lot of planets have been colonized in space, but none of them are sufficiently terraformed by any high-tech civilization. In fact, high-tech civilizations have depleted their home worlds over the course of time, searching for basic materials and compounds elsewhere in space or from space trade. Some of these technologically advanced civilizations are the most oppressive. The beings don't have any freedom or rights. They serve several alien overlords that plan to secretly and deceptively take over various, desired planetary systems. Some of them are here on Earth now. Their overlords are watching everything off space and never come here. Humanity has the chance to terraform millions of alien worlds in the universe, but they have to stop pirate-like forces that will only subjugate the human population and take everything away. They knew climate change would weaken the natural environment and human society, so they ordered people in power to burn down forests and carry on devastation and fires further out. This is proof that the aliens aren't here to save the world nor humanity by any means. Humans have to unite as a super green force to protect every bit of the Earth and all life before it's impossible. Probably, after a century, there won't be enough for the growing population. Unfortunately, humans have been destroying a beautiful planet with everything they do for centuries. Perhaps, except a few gardeners and environmentalists. Nothing else matters anymore. The aliens are here trying to take over the world secretly. The people that made agreements with them are only enslaved to complete the alien agenda of planetary acquisition, then get dumped out. This has happened to countless worlds in the universe. The world population may have to start protesting alien intrusions, and the malevolent alien plan to thwart this deceptive presence. The universe consists of multitudinous barren and depleted spheres, unlike the Earth. Technology never solved the problems of alien civilizations, it generated more. They were either overtaken by powerful forces or ended up impoverished in their home worlds or colonized planes. The same thing should never happen to human civilization, which is a newly developing one. There is a great promise for a universal terraformation launched from the Earth into the universe. In fact, it was the archangels overseeing the physical space of existence that assist in terraforming worlds. It was the intelligent civilizations that have depleted most of these jewels bestowed upon them to progress and evolve. They assumed technology was the best thing ever, they did everything to make and improve their technology and industries. The same thing is transpiring here on Earth. Most people admire technology like it's the creator of the universe. In truth, the creator lives in them. Spirit is superior to any technology in the universe. Some aliens have been harvesting spiritual energy as well as biological resources, including millions of people. They've only winded up as farm animals to the aliens and shipped to space. The Earth literally is calling and crying out for re-terraformation globally. You can perceive this from the disastrous events. It's trying to clean up itself, get rid of the bugs on its surface. Some people believe green energy can be the solution to climate change and all other problems, but green energy and tech powered by it demand more rare earth metals, mining, and resources than fossil fuels. It won't solve all the environmental issues, it may bring more of them since mining is a ravaging industry. People of the world are supposed to go back to their roots and learn to live with less tech, products, and consumption. Some indigenous communities were living in harmony with their surroundings, some of them were guardians of trees and forests. They planted all they could to grow more living space for them and other beings. Of course, modern society cannot live like this, but they can learn from their symbiotic existence with nature. Trees, plants, animals, and even microorganisms are all extremely significant to preserving ecological balance encompassing the Earth. Researchers have detected mushroom-like organisms growing on the surface of Mars. Perhaps, Mars can be transformed into a new Earth-like world one day. The challenge is to create a magnetic field to form a thick atmosphere that can shield solar radiation and keep a steady climate. Thus, human beings can live on the surface without digging for colonies or building domes. At first, dome buildings and underground facilities will be the best places for colonies. Planet Earth is more significant than any other planet or alien domain. Alien technologies won't work to regenerate the Earth, they will deplete it into extinction. Most of the gadgets people use today are made from alien technologies. Mass manufacturing of any tech and product will exhaust the natural environment and its resources. Plant-based manufacturing and productions can be more sustainable than traditional manufacturing. One day, every technology and pretty much everything can be made from plants without harming or altering the environment. The planet is extremely fragile and finite, you can see the effects of this now. Climate change has proven that this planet is a very fragile environment that human beings must care for diligently. That's why every industry and sector are supposed to be restricted and regulated for the betterment of the natural environment and climate. Planting trees may not hinder climate change, yet existent forest cover must remain as it is. Renewable energy has been mainstream, but energy instruments will expire and will cause pollution as much as other industries. Batteries, solar panels, and wind turbines last about 15 years at the most. It's extremely difficult to recycle them after their expiration. Recycling is the next challenge for all businesses, renewable energies, electric apparatus. Every industry can be adjusted to tweak their production lines as recyclable in advance. If a battery or solar panel isn't made to be recyclable, it will probably never get recycled or repurposed. The first phase of manufacturing should be to correct every technology and product to be 100% recyclable and perhaps carbon negative. Carbon emissions reflect environmental devastation, so carbon can be the main factor to track and estimate environmental impact of all industries. Forest cover was almost global in the past, it's down to around 30% now. Augmenting forests and cooler oceans were absorbing most of the greenhouse gases emitted. Satellite imagery can track the areas where most emissions are located. These areas can be remodeled to embrace climate and ecological goals. Cities and industrial zones have been expanding rapidly in coordination with economic and population growth. They can be revamped as new biodiverse jungles where green energy is prevalent and consumption is in sustainable levels. Therefore, every city and industry will become increasingly carbon negative and eco-rich, continuously re-terraforming the Earth and the universe. New terraform industries will emerge from innovative minds, scientists, researchers, bright individuals, companies. Terraforming has to begin here on Earth, it will grow as the biggest business sector on Earth and the universe. There is nothing more magnificent than terraformation of new, lively jewels in the cosmic creation. Hopefully, Archangels assigned by the Prime Creator will guide and help humanity to protect and enrich the Terra as well as its future in an alien universe. The universe is packed with a great diversity of aliens. One thing that they all need is nature and more of it. That's one reason they come to Earth, for its biodiversity that doesn't exist anywhere else. This glorifying biodiversity will revitalize the Earth when humans act according to their symbiotic nature. Tech will always be a tool to get things done. Instead of working a bunch of meaningless jobs, robots can do them. Humans can enjoy their lives and work on green jobs to protect the Earth and put an end to cataclysmic changes. Green jobs are going to be the biggest field forever. It will include terraforming as well. Alien races would do anything for humans to evolve to a point that they could travel and terraform their home worlds. This is the marvelous dreams the Creator has bestowed upon humanity. Humans must stop endless wars between nations and invest in solving the most important issues that are existential threats. Environmental impact of mining, deforestation, agriculture can be reversed through ecologically enriching plant and tree species. Mining zones have destroyed many habitats. They can be either restored with regenerative farming and agro-recovery of numerous, generative species. Every habitat and forest that's been destroyed for industrial growth and expansion are required to be restored and recovered to be able to tackle climate change. People never need that many products, nor monocultures. The planet's finite resources must be conserved for future use, since humans will live on this planet for thousands of years. When human society has grown as an extremely sustainable and ecologically enhanced community, they will experience total symbiosis with nature, each other and all living beings. This is how most advanced civilizations subsist, become more sustainable and unified over the course of time. Overly technological, extraterrestrial organizations and civilizations will never be sustainable, free, nor spiritual by any means. Humanity has the chance to outmatch all of them in many unique ways. The Earth is one of the most special spheres in the universe. The aliens want this unique and rich world as their main resource hub. The elites that work for the aliens didn't understand that they were being used while the planet has been changing and getting spoiled. After a couple of decades or so, they wouldn't have enough to survive. They would have to obey alien orders, then get eliminated. It won't be too difficult for the aliens to replace many individuals in power with alien-human hybrids. The awareness about the serious issues, alien presence, and environmental calamities has been arising worldwide, but this isn't enough. People don't know how to act upon these serious issues concerning every human being. You wouldn't want to get enslaved by some alien associations that can take over the most powerful nations with persuasion and mind control. Without protecting the environment, stabilizing climate, impeding resource depletion, people will have lesser chance to stop the aliens. When there isn't enough to go by, everyone will have to comply with alien orders to receive necessities. So-called artificial intelligence may be an alien control mechanism. Brain and body implants are extremely dangerous to human freedom. Robots can perform tasks that people are tired of and don't want to. Exploration robots have been placed on Mars because people cannot stay there too long. Likewise, robots can perform ecological tasks of planetary rejuvenation. People usually don't know how to regenerate the environment nor carry out projects to tackle climate change. Robots can perform these new critical tasks by learning and being programmed continually. Robots can establish the dome buildings for people to move into on Mars and elsewhere. It would be easier for robots to begin terraforming the Earth and countless other worlds since there are restrictions, and it's impossible for people to survive in space. There are many proliferating and fast reproducing species that can generate energy, clear out pollution, recover habitats, and produce biomaterials. Some communities are testing out biogas from weeds to replace other fuels. This type of biogas emits a lot less carbon dioxide. Plants can do miracles in the physical universe because they're always the first species to emerge and evolve in any planetary system. That's why the plant-based sector has been thriving. Anything can be made plant-based. Plant-based compounds and mixtures can supersede metals used for tech and industrial manufacturing. This is where society is heading to reach higher sustainability and deal with global warming. If the temperatures keep rising, deforestation continues, the entire world will turn into a desert that's nearly uninhabitable. This is how most of the alien worlds are. The alien collectives have been accumulating new worlds and their habitants as a workforce for a while. Their hierarchical systems are overly oppressive and overwhelming. It would be miserable for human beings to join these forces. The universe is a very harsh and restricted expanse. Alien races cannot do whatever they want and cannot go wherever. Humans have way more freedom than most of the alien civilizations. Advancing technologically brings more restriction, hierarchy, and uniformity to all societies and organizations. You can see this in the world now. People work so hard in tech companies to keep up with the latest progression. People of the world should stop focusing on technology so much and start focusing on the real problems and the environment more. All beings are living components of the environment. Human beings have to grow spiritually at the same time. Technology cannot bring this. Tech is almost like a new religion on its own. E-waste is getting as big as plastic waste. It may even outgrow plastics soon. Natural resources are the most significant aspect of civilization. Without them, no production, no manufacturing, tech, company nor administration would work. Natural resources are in grave danger worldwide. Poverty is intensifying due to declining natural resources and environmental deterioration. Many large empires in history have collapsed as a consequence of ecological catastrophes. Nations are getting weaker, poorer every year because the environment cannot sustain the growing population, it cannot provide the abundance of the past. Natural resources can sequester tons of carbon in a polyculture setting like rich forests. For that reason, natural resources must be regenerated with great endeavor in every country across the globe. Natural solutions to climate change tend to be more potent than even innovative tech. Natural resources are what sustains any civilization in the universe. They provide biodiversity, livability, ecological balance, clean ambience, water, food, and so much more. Natural resources are supposed to be restored, rejuvenated, also proliferate and spread apart the world, regreening deserts and areas harmed by deforestation, desertification, disasters, and droughts. The greenest and most biodiverse areas are the most disaster-proof. These places will be more secure than other territories during times of crises and climate catastrophes. Green energy will assist regreening and regenerating natural resources as well. It's in full production now, and it's getting more affordable. New green energy sources will prevail in the near future. Solar is potent. Some new energy sources like nuclear fusion will copy the sun as infinite energy here on Earth. Civilization requires a new, clean energy source to re-terraform itself and safeguard the planet's balance of life. Biodiversity can reproduce fast, and it can be put to use in every industry, city, and state universally. For instance, some people have grown very productive, rich gardens consisting of many species right in their backyard. This is the corroboration that biodiversity can be applied in any place. Grocery stores have started turning their roofs into prolific gardens that yield fresh produce year-round. Solar panels are improving every year. Perhaps, in the future, there won't be a need for batteries. Solar panels will produce tons of energy day and night. Engineers have been working on a solar panel that can work at night. Solar films can be placed on any surface and roof to generate energy for commercial and residential use. 3D printing is getting better each year. Manufacturing of so many products can be done with rapid 3D printers. Plant-based feedstock can refill 3D printers to manufacture many sustainable, plant tech products. Plant technologies aren't discovered here on Earth yet. Nature has the most advanced technology that are biological and totally recyclable. Plant-based productions and technologies can outperform every other sort of tech. Electrical signals are frequent in human body and even in plants. They transmit electric signals to grow, flourish, and complete biological tasks. In the future, technologies will emulate biological organisms, not just conductive metal transistors and circuits. Intelligent tech bots can be like walking trees and plants, continuously evolving, growing, producing and completing necessary tasks. 3D printing of houses and buildings is easier and more sustainable than constructions. Concrete includes so many materials that are getting scarcer. Renewable substrates can feed 3D constructions, replacing cement. A green lantern is shining its light upon the earth, calling and warming humanity to change everything for the betterment of civilization. The world is being called to prevent mass extinctions and every other disaster. Everyone can be a superhero as of now if they learn how to live, work, communicate to benefit the planet and all living beings. Renewability and sustainability of a civilization is what signifies its level of advancement, not just technology. Green energy tech hopefully can blend in with nature, strengthen ecology, boost biodiversity in every acre of the earth. Some people state that the planet must have some forests, some deserts, some grassland for balance. That's not true. They don't even believe that climate change is real. Forests are turning into grassland to feed livestock and cultivate monocultures. This is one of the most profitable and destructive businesses, also contributing to climate change. Alien deception and intrusions are some of the biggest threats concerning every human being, not just administrations. There are alien collectives that have been usurping civilizations and worlds for a long time. Some of them are here, they carry out tested and successful procedures here on Earth. Everything about human beings are being manipulated. Most influential individuals, organizations are being persuaded to carry out the alien agenda with false promises. This is a threshold in space. The universe isn't what people assume it is. What has happened wickedly on Earth, has happened in space so many times at a larger scale. The world population must be warned that there are aliens everywhere and more are coming every year into the solar system. The invasion has been very subtle and surreptitious. People have been lights, unknown phenomena, crafts in the sky, but they didn't know what it meant or what they were after. The aliens believe that humans aren't good keepers of a beautiful and rich world like the Earth. They've been observing and studying everything about human society with envy. Most of them never had the luck of having all the wonderful things people enjoy throughout their lives. Technology never solved their civilization's problems either, it engendered more of them. That's why, technology will never save the world, nor humanity. It didn't save the aliens in the past, it will not save them now. Nature and biodiversity can save the world and humanity. Diversity in nature enhances production output, naturally recycling every element endlessly. Bringing various animals to degraded lands have been proven to be successful in land regeneration. The aliens come here mostly for biological resources that humans have been overusing and destroying for centuries. They know how to make use of them adeptly. Their technology is way ahead of what humans have developed so far. Thus, humans cannot compete with the aliens technologically, and it's better not to. Technological overuse and overgrowth will only deplete the planet more than it's been. Industrial and technological growth are required to be limited and regulated for the benefit of the planet's future. Many nations have been following a path of destruction called economic and industrial growth, expansion. This is the wrong route taken. Nations should stop competing with each other economically and technologically. Everyone knows that overgrown cities have become too polluted, populated, and prices are too high for people to keep up with. In the near future, money will be useless because there won't be enough supplies to distribute across the globe. Water is already getting scarcer in many regions, it's been very deficient in many places. Without water, all life ends. There won't be any economy, technology, or business nor a place to run to. The richest and most powerful people supposed accumulating all the wealth was the best thing to do to survive. This undermined the planet to a point of no return. There won't be any place to hide or migrate after cataclysms wind up the norm. The aliens have been taking so many species, but they cannot terraform their worlds nor save humanity. They only want to save the world for their own benefit and purposes. It's up to every human being to raise their spiritual and intellectual awareness plus expertise to somehow build the most cooperative, unified, sustainable system of living and productivity. A new society is being born at this time. Every nation is trying to go as green as possible. This is the right path of advancement. Without environmental and resource stability, it will be impossible to expel deceptive alien presence and prevent cataclysmic shifts. Resource depletion is one of the biggest problems. Largest corporations usually use up most of the stuff to supply the demand and for profits. This should be restricted as well. In a world going through cataclysmic changes, every type of product, material, resource, substance have got to be managed wisely. Profits aren't the main concern anymore. You cannot get water from a drained well. The best thing to do is to rehabilitate the environment, so it can refill the aquifer to the well. This is the situation the world has been in for decades. The largest corporations have been procuring almost all the water from a shrinking well. There is little left. Now these corporations are being called to invest in natural regeneration and industrial modification to rejuvenate what's left. Otherwise, they will be the first ones to fall and lose it all. Nature used to refill, replenish, restock it all, it's been impaired that it cannot much longer. Hence, the aliens will do everything to take possession of this planet and seize upon every asset. The powerful individuals will lose it all when the planet loses its replenishment mechanism. Some of them made a pact with the aliens without knowing that the planet has been depleting and changing rapidly. Aliens know that every nation will get so impoverished that the richest and powerful will lose it all, then they will control everything. Hybrids will run the show, not the powerful individuals anymore. They won't have anything left. A new sector is on the rise, it's called green tech and innovation. It's destined to reshape the planet, also tackle climate change and warming. The planet is getting hotter and drier every year. Some nations have collaborated to build great green walls to stop desertification from reaching fertile lands. Every continent can do the same because there are vast deserts in every continent. The human population has to stop destroying and burning the forests and invest in most sustainable productions. Sustainability of every nation has to increase annually in order to be able to cool down and stabilize climate. Without consistent rainfall and stable climate, the planet will degrade into an uninhabitable condition where so many species are extinct. The administrations are under alien control. People who believe the aliens are here for good have been deceived by them. Obviously, chicanery is common in the universe. The real reason the aliens have come to Earth for planetary domination is humans have been destructive to the planet and to each other for a while. The time is up, this cannot go on any longer. Luckily, after the pandemic, nations have been taking action about climate and the environment. The planet needs a total cleanse, and it's up to people to accomplish this. Many nations were coalescing to plant millions of trees, but most of these projects were monocultures that don't really restore ecology nor provide much good. It seems like the aliens that have made agreements with several nations didn't want people to restore the environment with trees and other projects. Apparently, they don't want human society to be free and prosperous by utilizing the power of nature. Trees and many other species are some of the most productive and significant organisms, having the capability of rejuvenating large areas of land, perhaps entire continents. There is evidence that the driest continents were very lush and vivid in the past. People can regreen them once again with projects like the Great Green Wall. Some countries are drawing green lines across their borders to start building green energy infrastructure cities that are carbon neutral. Carbon is what plant life absorbs to make sugars and carbohydrates. It also causes pollution detrimentally. Capturing this carbon will be one of the biggest fields in business and innovation because there is too much of it circling around the atmosphere. Any emitted gases and molecules travel around the atmosphere at a rapid rate, so any location is feasible for carbon capture and utilization. From various encounters, the aliens have shown people that the planet has been drying out quickly. They thought that they could save the world for themselves by making a pact with major authorities. The problem is, not even them would be able to save nor recover the planet that's in grave danger. They would only farm it as much as they can by subduing the population. Wherever there are too many people, pollution, waste, deforestation, other issues amplify, so perhaps restricting population growth in the world's major cities can mitigate some issues. Capitalist economic system has been plundering resources and destroying the planet during the last century. A new system is required to replenish the planet and to keep it cool. This beautiful world isn't cool like it used to be. Energy from waste is being subsidized in many countries. Food waste can be an energy source like biogas, as well as feedstock for other industries. Food waste around the world is incredible. So much is going to waste, ending up in landfills or causing pollution. In nature, nothing ever goes to waste, it's the perfect circular economy supporting all species. Thus, humans have to harness the circularity of nature in every industry. Take, consume, throw type of economy is archaic. You can distinguish from the alien encounters that nothing ever goes to waste. In the human world, wasting, expending, overusing, polluting were the best thing to do for the economy. Finally, people have awakened to what's been done wrong for decades. People need better education about the existential threats in a declining world, where there are many aliens trying to take advantage of a weakening society. Without education, nothing will ever work, everything will deplete, and all life will go extinct. Nations must work together to preserve the world's largest rainforests that are being burned down for monocultures. In fact, most of the globe and largest cities can be remodeled and revitalized as living, productive rainforests that can produce water, materials, nutrients, biodiversity, and so much more. Cities can be preplanned to grow as rainforests rather than populated, concrete jungles that consume most of the resources and generate pollution extensively. In the past, many native communities were living in the richest forests, protecting and living off them. They've even built sustainable productions in symbiosis with their surroundings, similar to the Avatar scenario. Some other communities have reached the same level of symbiotic relationship with nature and forests in the past, then they've been colonized by others. Hence, colonization is very dangerous to native inhabitants. The aliens started colonizing the world secretly for decades. Humans should stop all destructive industries as soon as possible and somehow unite to put an end to alien colonization of the Earth. They will exploit every human weakness, affinity, disposition, thought, belief, custom and so on. This is by far the most dangerous event, and it's correlated to climate change and other environmental problems. People have to safeguard every resource, every species, every habitat before the damage and devastation are irremediable. Most of the population doesn't even know the aliens are here and trying to take over the world. Most of the negative events are part of their agenda to weaken society and gain full control. Their technologies are useless for humans, space is very dangerous for humans to take part in. Only terraformation can be attempted, it's still a very complex and arduous venture. The aliens have colonized some planets with technology, but they were never able to terraform them. Now, the human society may be able to terraform some worlds if they can somehow shield the Earth from destruction. Even the water, which is the greatest life source, is at serious risk due to climate change and rising temperatures. Most of the world has been under prolonged droughts, and some areas have been flooding frequently. This is the consequence of a destabilized climate. A stable climate is fundamental to all continents' stability. The greenhouse gas emissions in one part will severely affect others because these gases circulate fast and create heat waves. In a depleting world, it will be more difficult to deal with the alien organizations establishing themselves for planetary domination. They're going to take out all administrations and build a totalitarian alien dominion upon the Earth. What's happening is not much different from the Independence Day scenario. It's a different and subtle form of invasion. Most of these beings are very robotic, programmed to carry out necessary tasks and procedures. Their overlords never come to Earth. That's why it would be impossible to persuade them or ask them for help. Although human beings haven't been good saviors of the Earth, they can change and cooperate to protect their existence and all life. The aliens may never back down, they may only change their plans when they're opposed. There was no opposition yet. People would start protesting if they knew what's been occurring behind the scenes. Alien technologies that are granted were only trinkets, advanced tech was never given to anybody. The reason the aliens grant various technologies is to gain control of the masses, since they use technology to control other beings. Any type of advanced and breakthrough tech plan to control human beings and take away their freedom is extremely dangerous. They want people to turn into robotic workers with no freedom or rights. Chaos and confusion will never solve anything across the globe. People need better guidance and education regarding the real problems and alien presence. Humanity has to unite as a super force to regenerate the environment, conserve finite resources of any kind, build the most sustainable, disaster-proof, eco-rich civilization in the universe. This planet has been bestowed upon humanity for them to be its saviors into eternity. People need reprogramming. Old ways of living and working don't work anymore. Industrial designs were plundering resources, destroying and polluting the planet for centuries. They are supposed to be readjusted to benefit and enrich the environment to form a more stable and robust climate. Climate has been managed by the forest cover and oceans for thousands of years. Most of the oxygen in the atmosphere has been produced by cyanobacteria in the oceans. That's why algae and various other plants can be very useful to sequester carbon and to produce renewable fuels, materials and feedstock. In the future, renewably produced feedstock can be filled into 3D printers to mass manufacture all kinds of products and industrial components. Nothing has ever been sustainable in the modern civilization after the industrial revolutions or in the past. This has to change to secure the future of humanity and all life. The aliens have been influencing the people in power for decades. They gave them the promise of technology and planetary domination, yet the aliens have been using them along the way. They will eventually lose their power because the planet won't provide enough for anyone nor them. Money, power, and other meaningless aspirations are all illusions on Earth and in the universe. The planet's natural environment is what presents power and life sources to all living beings, including humans, regardless of their status. The largest administrations, corporations, necessitate more to keep everything in order, otherwise they would easily get replaced or overtaken by the aliens. This is why there are so many hybrids integrated into society. They know that the planet is being undermined to a point of no return, and they will overrule every human being sooner or later. Even in the richest, most powerful nations, the worst droughts in history are on the rise. The signs are here. The aliens will use every weakness and disaster to their own advantage. They want to become the top leading force upon planet Earth. Many alien races have tried this in the ancient past in many empires. They couldn't succeed. The ones that are here see no resistance. They were the ones that depleted their home worlds for the sake of technological growth. This forced them to seek essentials elsewhere in space. They've been observing the Earth for quite a while. Then they had to initiate planetary acquisition schemes because humans started to destroy the planet at an exponential rate. Any industry that destroy the planet and its life-giving resources must be prohibited immediately. There are still so many of them in operation. Large forests are still being burnt down to clear land for agriculture. Humans are literally devouring the planet alive like a locust swarm. This is the wrong path to advancement. Protecting the planet's natural resource is supposed to be the main goal of all nations and business sectors. Possibly, this planet contains the organic and biological technologies that can regenerate itself and other planets in the universe. Space telescopes have detected thousands of Earth-like worlds that intelligent civilizations abide. Unfortunately, most of these have been outstripped of their natural environment that render life to all beings and organisms. Intelligent civilizations have been mostly fostering their societies with technology. Humans shouldn't make the same mistake and spoil the environment and climate for the sake of technological and industrial growth. The aliens wouldn't mind the things they don't need to be ruined, like the forest ecosystems that sustain all life and stabilize climate. A ruined environment, unstable weather, impoverished world will weaken humanity to acquiesce to their new alien rulers. This is how intelligent, technological civilizations infiltrate and take over worlds without a single shot. The people that are persuaded and complied with their agendas are only being used until their plan is completed. They will lose their power and riches soon, then get discarded. The natural environment's stability is the most significant aspect of civilization. Most nations have degraded their ecosystems and the expedients derived from them. This affects the entire globe, not just one region. You can see this from the droughts and other disastrous events occurring simultaneously. Undermining a particular region or continent will impact the climate and other continents severely. Even the most deserted areas used to be very fertile and abundant in the past. Overconsumption and extraction strategies have turned vast territories into extensive deserts. Now, nations are attempting to revitalize vast deserts with green projects and afforestation. Terraforming starts with the Earth. The tech, inventions, projects, developments that are made here will spread apart the world, then other planetary systems to gradually re-terraform every acre. Mars-like deserts exist here on Earth. They can be colonized and rejuvenated first to capture tons of carbon and practice terraforming. Instead of traveling millions of miles in space, the Earth's deserts can be designated as new Mars colonies for nations to pursue space colonization, carbon capture, rejuvenation, reforestation, biofabrication and many other green projects that can assist terraforming deserts. Then the entire Earth can be re-terraformed. There are many companies would like to engage in this to tackle climate change and planetary degradation. A planetary eco-revival is underway to thwart alien deception and manipulation, also to secure the future of humanity that depends on the planet's ecological and social stability. Biofabrication is a new field in research and development. Industrial manufacturing can copy nature's organic productions to make many products without harming the environment. An organic factory is always out there making things out of sunlight, water, CO2 and other elements. Microbes and bacteria can be harnessed to manufacture a lot of things, like a carbon-negative factory. Factories have been the most productive zones until now. People are realizing that they aren't sustainable by any means. Products can be made through biofabrication as an eco-friendly factory. Even algae can be extremely useful when it's grown and utilized for biofabrication and bioenergy. Bioenergy can be produced by capturing carbon dioxide and other gases, then recycle them continuously into biofuels and materials. This is what nature has been doing for millions of years, to grow and recycle every element effortlessly. Green energy and productions will create many new eco-rich, zero-carbon cities and industries across the globe. Some nations already have plans about that. Some of these are right in the heart of deserts. Desert nations have accumulated so much wealth from fossil fuels, now they can use this to regreen their deserts and convert them into self-sustaining, prolific jungles. There are some oases similar to that, but not many people live there. Pretty much anything can be made with biofabrication. It's just a new manufacturing system that's way more sustainable and renewable. Renewable industries will construct renewable biocities and retrofit existent ones as carbon capture, green powerhouses. The aliens don't have any of the technologies and innovations that will emerge from human minds and synergy. Green innovation and planetary regeneration are introducing tech, developments, and projects that are more advanced and transformative than the extraterrestrial forces that are pirate-like. A totally new spiritual intelligence is arising in human society. People feel and know that they must do something about the Earth and all life. They must protect all living beings, habitats, everything that exists here, so they can maintain their existence. This is the power of spiritual awareness and calling. The Earth has been calling humanity to change and terminate environmental destruction and depletion for centuries. Disastrous events are its ripples. Some parts are flooding, some parts are still under fire or drought. This is total climate instability. It can negate production zones as toxic zones or infertile wasteland in less than a decade. Humanity must unite under a higher purpose of planetary protection and rejuvenation. A total reformation in every element of civilization is necessary to overcome alien interference and overwhelming problems. The environment and its life-giving sources are extremely substantial for the survival and freedom of human race. Aliens will do everything to take it all away from humans and exploit them on the way. Many worlds have fallen under alien domination. This is one of the harrowing consequences of extraterrestrial disturbance. There are Earth-based solutions to all the problems of current times and ahead. Climate change has been uniting nations to do the right things to save their land and the planet that they live on. Innovation is endless to mitigate catastrophes, to build a sustainable and stable civilization. Sustainability of every nation must increase every year to be able to have the chance of planetary equilibrium and productivity. Possibly, vast deserts can be converted to carbon capture and production zones to end global warming. There are atmospheric strategies, but they're risky. Natural and industrial solutions are the most feasible because everything relies on them. Some entrepreneurs discovered ways to utilize weeds for bioenergy generation rather than spraying cropland with herbicides. There is no need for toxic spraying in nature, and it still thrives because it's reinforced by biodiversity and high variety. Diversity of species eliminates unwanted and detrimental categories. That's why it's better to grow production forests than monocultures that are destructive and futile. Aliens have collected so many species over the course of many years. Many regions similar to alien worlds and Mars may exist here on Earth. They may be remodeled as preliminary space colonies and terraforming blueprints for people to take part in and experience. Terraforming begins with the Earth. This isn't just geoengineering. The Earth's environment is on a downturn. Geoengineering experiments wouldn't make much difference. The largest cities in the world have to plant millions of trees annually to offset their emissions and pollution. This equals to billions of trees and probably very diverse forests to relieve the negative effects of global warming. Greenhouse gas emissions have been skyrocketing in industrial and populated areas and zones. Other programs and solutions are still needed to fully solve this global threat that will weaken society against the extraterrestrial forces. More of them will come to Earth in the near future. There are larger, more powerful forces that watch from afar. Climate is one of the most vital aspects of ecological consistency. The modern era has taken away a lot from the Earth without returning them. Now everything regarding civilization is supposed to be revamped to replenish what's been taken from the Earth. Hydrocarbon extraction has been very useful and the greatest energy source, bringing industrial revolutions. The bad thing about it, Hydrocarbons have filled the atmosphere with potent gases, heating up the planet and also caused plastic pollution. Perhaps, now is the time to slowly eliminate this nuisance. New types of productions and technologies are emerging to solve climate crisis. Some of these are plant-based and even ocean-based. There is a possibility that new breakthrough climate technologies can outmatch alien tech that's mostly useless for humans and the Earth. All life depends on ambient and atmospheric stability. For instance, if there isn't enough rain, no life form can subsist too long. It's the rich forests that actually create cloud formations and rainfall over continents. Without them, there wouldn't be adequate rain. Coldest places have maintained their forest coverage because they get impacted less than hotter landmass. Hotter areas degrade faster than colder sections of the globe. Consequently, rising global temperatures will deteriorate the lands and oceans ever more. Therefore, the planet must be cooled down by global action via cooperation of all nations, companies, businesses, and citizens. A cooler planet will have a more stable climate with more adequate rainfall. Of course, forest coverage should augment by millions yearly. Removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere for industrial uses will decrease temperatures a couple or more degrees. Greenhouse gases and pollutants can be feedstock for many enterprises. Every business and household can purchase and install compact bioreactors to remove carbon dioxide, produce bioenergy, food, minerals, oxygen one day to offset their emissions. Plant-based technologies will be way more sustainable, environmentally safe, and revolutionary than all alien technologies combined. This is the power of nature. The aliens have despoiled their planet into extinction. Now they're here to do the same on Earth by fooling people in power and influence. A plant revolution has been in progress to cast out malevolent alien encroachment as well. The aliens don't know much about sustainability. Diversity of life boosts environmental productivity and permanence in every world. In lieu, they've been taking life forms for space trade and exploitation. With advanced technology, many species could be bioengineered to regenerate their home worlds. Tons of new inventions are being introduced to reach net zero in a few decades. Electric cars and trucks can be charged wirelessly soon, so charging times will decrease. Magnetized concrete is a new invention to demonstrate this the first time. Electronics were being charged wirelessly for some time. Cars and trucks on the roads can be charged similarly by either stopping or in motion soon. Wireless charging will improve every year for vehicles to recharge effortlessly. Charging of electric cars and trucks is still a burden. Every road, rest stop and station may have wireless charging one day. Renewable energies will refill these charging stations with zero emissions. Concrete carbon capture is a new breakthrough. There is a new type of concrete that can absorb and get filled with excess CO2 removed from the atmosphere. Concrete is the most used material on Earth because there is always new construction everywhere. People love to build new things all the time, and this emits tons of carbon. Thus, some greenhouse gases can get trapped in concrete used for construction and building things. Engineers have been working on concrete that can absorb CO2 from the air and keep it forever. New inventions cost more than conventional products, but they will be more profitable since the climate market will be thriving. One of the biggest problems of the modern era is droughts and desertification. Water sources are at serious risk. There aren't enough water in many regions. Desalination has been the only way in the driest regions to produce enough water. Desalination has to improve, get more efficient and cleaner since water security is extremely imperative for the survival of human race. You wouldn't want to ask water from the aliens, they would use this for their own benefit and start domineering. A cleaner alternative to desalination is crucial to protect the oceans and marine life. One of this is cloud seeding. Some nations have been conducting cloud seeding for their water security. Water is getting scarcer every year. Desalination is still a dirty way of filtering water. Electrifying clouds can precipitate rain to dry areas, but this rainwater should be captured with large ponds and reservoirs. Dry regions can get reforested and regreened, so they can receive rainfall naturally. The only ways are desalination and cloud seeding for now. The places that are reforested started receiving rainfall after some time. At first, they need watering frequently, which is a lot of water for arid lands. Solar desalination is a new breakthrough that desalinates saline water like a biosphere dome mimicking the atmosphere. Glass dome structures can filter salty water by evaporation and condensation. Many forests and farms can be placed inside glass dome that filter saline water as precipitation over crops and plant life. In this way, mini Mars is being manifested to flourish inside a dome structure. There may be underground water reservoirs in other planets, so this water can be used to create living biospheres inside domes or in underground systems. Establishing water security worldwide is the newest challenge. If more and more areas, then entire continents will desiccate, it will be impossible to reverse global warming and its negative outcome. There are probably a couple of decades to overturn the environmental and atmospheric damage done by all nations. Every nation has contributed to climate change, warming and ecological destruction in one way or another. Every region affects the whole world. Wildfires, High emissions in one part intensify global warming, climate change and natural disasters all around the world. There are more frequent, more severe convulsions as a result of climatic fluctuations. There is an estimate by a research community stating that most polluted cities with the highest greenhouse gas emissions should plant millions of trees, some of them over 10 million, to offset their emissions. It would take a long time to do that, so it's better to minimize emissions and discharge various projects, innovations, solutions, and other concepts. Global warming must be resolved with the partnership of all countries at a warp speed instead of spending so much on space ventures. There is no space if the Earth is drying out and losing all its life. Planetary protection and stability will always be the ultimate principle. No nation is immune to climate change regardless of their power, influence, and wealth. The aliens know that global warming will undermine society to a situation that leaders will have to obey alien orders. In order to hinder weather fluctuations and desiccation, many new biosphere cities and zones can be established in every continent. Driest nations are supposed to rejuvenate with natural, novel solutions and projects. Diversity of natural resources is what breathes life into every continent. That's why progeny of organic resources should be shared with every nation to capture carbon, stabilize climate, and secure water sources altogether. Without natural and organic resources, no life can flourish and establish a robust ecosystem sustaining every life form. Industrial productions can produce and disperse organic species for environmental vitality and for new rich production fields. Innovative solar desalination can bring life, forests, and production back into dry regions as well as assist in building new green cities powered by clean energy, zero-carbon industries and transportation. This is where society is heading. Everything will be zero carbon, carbon negative, or will use carbon as a building material. Carbon is a very useful and potent element. It can be used to make so many products, fuels. New carbon engines are a paradigm of carbon innovation. Carbon and climate are interrelated, so they will bring many new inventions, breakthroughs to the global market, launching the new green economic system. The aliens have been contacting so many individuals in power and commerce for decades. These people didn't know it was all deception to gain access to coveted resources and eventually take control of this planet. Administrations and corporations still depend upon the planet's finite and fragile resources to survive. Nobody is ever immune to planetary depletion and instability. Fossil fuels cannot establish ecological abundance, resilience, and equilibrium for the planet to sustain itself. They instead have been warming up the planet increasingly. The aliens know that they will somehow gain control of this planet by using many people on the way. This is a very dangerous and global phenomenon that most of the population has no clue about. More of them have been coming to Earth every year. They've been deceiving and taking more of what they needed. You can see that almost everything is underground shortages and scarcity due to climate change and ecological collapse. Some parts of the world are suffering the worst droughts, thereby famines. This is how nations, even the most powerful ones, can fall and have fallen in the ancient past. The largest empires were destructive to their environment, and natural disasters have wiped them out. Nobody is invulnerable to alien invasions and other types of events. Global emissions better get reversed and get utilized by new ways of productions and systems. The atmosphere is choking with polluting gases for a while. In the past, some forest communities were continuously planting and cultivating all that they need to survive and to boost biological productivity. They were negative in emissions, and they grew a lot more than they needed. They were living in symbiosis. Modern humans must do the same. Every company and household can nullify their emissions by investing in organic growth. Some people embraced permaculture as their way of life and business, and they became very successful. This is how nature operates and sustains itself, similar to permaculture designs. Aliens' worlds have been peeled off their natural environment and sources of life for the sake of technological growth. Some alien worlds never had a robust and vivacious ambience in the first place. The Earth is a very rich and biodiverse sphere that's been wanted by many alien societies and organizations. Now some of them here, some others are watching from afar. Humans have to stop destroying and polluting a beautiful planet in grave danger, otherwise they will lose everything. The extraterrestrial forces will take everything away from the Earth and subjugate mankind. People all around the world have been seeing many types of crafts and lights in the sky for quite some time. They didn't know what they were or what they were up to. A lot of people believed that the aliens would grant technologies, help out, provide guidance, teachings and so much more. The reality is totally the opposite. Most of the messages received by intuitive persons were false and given to trick the masses. These beings aren't spiritual at all, they serve their overlords like robots. Body, brain implants and advanced technologies are very dangerous. They're designed to control people like robots. At first, they look magical and advanced, but they're not offered for progress or for higher abilities. New Green Deals are supposed to be quicker and more effective. The planet is still burning down. The aliens don't care about forests, they don't need them. A burning world going through chaos and confusion is easier to manipulate and prey upon. Humans are the real prey, they've been using them like cattle. Animal agriculture has been destructive for the environment, so it's required to get restricted or very limited. The largest tropical rainforest is still being cleared out for agriculture, for mining, for timber, and other destructive industries. Mining will increase to supply the demand of renewable energy manufacturing as well. Forest coverage must grow and expand to encompass the globe profusely. In the past, some forests were all nut, fruit trees, and many other edible species. More animal species can live of edible forests, including humans. Most of the forests could be edible to sustain biodiversity rather than replacing them with monocultures. New methods of cloud seeding can feed newly planted forests, enclosing and swallowing every city across the globe. Every city can become a forest to absorb emissions, pollution, and provide useful materials to that city. Green deals have been too late, they must be faster, more operational and more powerful than weak trials. Clean energy and storage are crucial to reaching net zero targets, yet this isn't enough to tackle climate change and catastrophic events. Every region around the globe has to implement tech and solutions to remove greenhouse gases into new sustainable productions and industries. Climate-related industries and ventures will prevail because they are mandatory to build a disaster-proof, stable, and livable realm for human beings and all creatures. Humans will outmatch all alien races while they're innovating and cooperating to build a very sustainable and green world. This planet shouldn't end up like myriads of alien worlds in the cosmos. Self-sustaining jungle networks powered by green energy and circular economies can hopefully constitute a more biodiverse, clean, eco-rich civilization unlike any other in the universe. The aliens colonized other worlds with technology, but they are nothing like the Earth, which is a living, biological storehouse in the part of the universe. Every nation has to stop ravaging upon this magnificent jewel. Plundering of natural environment should be prohibited with the coalition of all countries. Climate crises and environmental collapse can unite the whole world as a super green force and nominate humans as the saviors of planet Earth. Every nation needs each other to overcome cataclysms and resolve their environmental and industrial problems. In order to establish a climate-stable, sustainable, and green world for all nations, nations must consolidate under a higher purpose of planetary regeneration and protection. The aliens know the world is depleting rapidly, and this will weaken human society under alien presence. Some countries are creating sponge cities safer from flooding and heat waves, in addition to retrofitting current cities with renewables and green technologies. Eco-focused ventures and funding will be more profitable and successful during times of crisis. Everyone needs new solutions and inventions to be able to overcome serious risks and increase sustainability of their business and household. Regenerative agriculture is the new way of farming to revitalize and fertilize cropland without chemicals and breaking down soils. Everyone has a massive footprint contributing to climate change and pollution. Greenhouse gases can be captured and broken down into useful elements for industrial use. These elements and gases can go back into countless products without polluting the atmosphere or the environment. This is what a circular economic system is. Everything is recycling endlessly like in nature. Nature is made of elements that are on the periodic table. It's just a living system of organic circularity. Companies that create all the blueprints and prototypes for every industry can readjust every product, gadget, and manufacturing assembly to mimic nature's self-regenerative cycle. This may be one of the ways to recover the planet that's losing its green cover and livability. Some entrepreneurs have discovered how to build drought-resistant, circular gardens and feedstock production in most arid areas. These can produce pretty much anything right in or near deserts. The thing is, regenerative productions can still attract rainfall after some time to expand annually.